As Ryan King tries to furiously complete another F1 2017 career mode race, welcome to the 101st episode of Motorsport 101, live to you on YouTube. Hey, good evening, everybody. Dre here. Ryan King is with me as always.
Yep. Hey, guys.
Yeah, he's here as well. RJ is not here yet. He's still coming home from work. He'll be here at about past, he reckons. So this is the fun part. This is the part of the podcast that you guys never get to normally see, the pre-show, which is always fun, where we basically just craft our set lists, get our show notes going, all that good stuff. And, you know, we just talk a little bit. We just basically just shoot the shit for about half an hour before we shoot the shit with a microphone instead. But, yeah, good evening, everybody. Hope you guys are with us. Hope you guys are enjoying this this fine Tuesday night here in London. At least where I'm recording. Sorry, it's a little bit dark on my end. I've not got a lot of good lighting in here, unfortunately. I've got shit light bulbs and whatnot, but hey, you make the most of it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We have Cuba with us. Thanks, man. Brian Glennon, who runs our fan page on Instagram, is here. Dr. B, nice to see you, man. Jason Poland, nice to see you, my man. And yes, he's singing the Big Show's theme because, of course, why not, right? Well, he also says pre-show, what is this, WWE pay-per-view? Which, to be fair, is not wholly inaccurate, for better or worse. Dre, is that Rubicon Mango again? Why, yes, it is, Formula One fan. Yes, it is, sir. And it's
what snaffle?
Thought I'd bring back painful memories of my times watching Daytona. And, oh gosh, yeah. Hang on, King, our old nemesis is in here. Episode 12 debutant Scott Woodwiss is in the chat right now.
Oh, Woodwiss.
The man, the myth, the legend, that is Scott Woodwiss. Hello, Scotty. Good to see you, sir. I don't know why on earth you decided to pick McLaren for an F1 2017 career mode option. Have you seen Ben's Let's Play?
Fair enough. They're not the worst team in the game, technically.
Oh, good. like that is some strong digging right there, King. Like,
you could have picked Sauber. You could have picked Sauber.
But at least, like, Sauber are more reliable. McLaren's Honda's parts are awful in that game. Like, they burn through power units and gearboxes like nobody's business because they're unreliable as well as slow. At least in real-life Formula 1, they're actually relatively quick when they get working.
Yeah, I'm using Haas for career mode. The cars are pretty quick, but again, like, parts are terrible. I think I got through mid-season. I got through 3 of pretty much everything except the control electronics.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know Haas has got a really good power unit. Like, they're up there in the top 5 for like engine power. Besides, like from what I remember from the R&D tree, Merckx, Force India, and Williams are all on the top because they all share the same Mercedes power unit. And then Ferrari and Haas have the same power unit. Just one is less reliable than the other one. I wonder which one that is. Could it be the customer team? Just a Force. But yeah, I'm using Renault right now, and things are going well. Like, I just did my second race today, finished in 4th. Like, it was a late safety car in China that like, my teammate Hulkenberg had a puncher, brought out a late safety car with like 5 laps to go. It comes in with 3 laps to go. I'm running in 7th place. I'm able to pass Felipe Massa, who was 1 stopping on the medium tyres. His mediums were shot. I was able to pass Verstappen on the final lap, who again was on used mediums. And then I found out after the race that Raikkonen had been given a 5-second time penalty because he bumped Lewis Hamilton off the road earlier in the race. So I actually finished in 4th, and I was pumped. I was like, yes, get in.
I have a story for you. First race fired up within this game. Like, do a quick race, formation lap. Near the end of the formation lap, it was Australia. Like, the second to last corner, that really tight left-hander. Me and Lance Stroll kind of like just touch wheels because I got a little too close trying to, you know, warm up my tires, and we both get disqualified.
Flashback, everybody.
I was like, bump, and it's like, I've been disqualified. Okay, that makes sense. I've been disqualified. I shouldn't have touched Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll's been disqualified. I'm like, what?
He's been disqualified because he's too young to go car racing. Oh dear. I've got some fun ones in the chat here as well. Like Brian goes, I know I'm on my 8th engine in MG UK already.
Oh my god.
It's McLaren R&D strategy. Reliability, everything, everywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing with Haas. Like, I pretty much put everything into reliability, so like it's been getting better and better as the season's gone on, but it's like everyone else around me is getting faster. This is not good.
Like, I dropped my initial 2,500. I split it. I did like the 500 on the general reliability one. I did like the first chassis and the engine one, and now it's like, do I like Renault's actually pretty reliable for the most part. It's just, you know, it's going to be cutting it close to make all 20 races on 4 power units. It's going to be like, I'm not one.
Like, I've seen Mercedes have taken grid drops so far, which is cool to see that the other, like the AI do have to, you know, manage their equipment as well. And you see,
it's like Cody's knows these rules are bullshit, and it's like, you know, they're going to use more than 4. Like,
I say that I'm at Monza and I just fly past a parked Stoffel Van Dorn in the grass.
Jesus.
I think that's what makes. I'll get into more detail in the actual episode, but that's what makes this career mode so great. That Cody's have kind of like, yeah, let's actually embrace the rules.
Yeah, we're gonna embrace the rules, as ridiculous as they may be. Jesus. Like Jason also says to me, also tell them the Detroit Lions how much better Derek Carr is over Matt Stafford. From Jason in the chat. Yeah, I can't believe Stafford's getting 27 mil a year now. Like, Matt Stafford's on the biggest contract in NFL history. They're giving mediocre quarterbacks 27 million a year now. Like, Matthew Stafford is the definition of middle of the road, and he's now going to be making more money than anyone in the NFL has ever. Like, imagine how Kirk Cousins feels right now, sitting back going, ooh, I'm going to rinse Washington for 30.
Oh my God. I think it's more like an issue of like, yeah, Matt Stafford, he's worth way more to Detroit than to anyone else because they can't afford to lose him.
Yeah, like, they have to keep him, so it's like, we're going to have to pay through the nose to keep him, basically, because Stafford already got the 3-year, like, 53 million extension as it was, and now he's getting this one, which is 5 for 135. Just, whew, Lord, that would be awesome.
A flashback as Sergio Perez takes me out in the turn 1 at Monza.
Monza? People are taking you out at Monza. This AI is too aggressive. Go back to the old days when they get scared of a hint of front wing.
So, yeah, I braked late, but Sergio Perez was also trying to dive bomb me. So he's alongside. I'm taking the normal racing line. I'm expecting him to back out. No, he doesn't. And he just turns my car around and drives off.
Yep. In the meantime, while King struggles along with Monza, I'm going to start crafting this set list. Episode 101. Like, we normally just you know, we pull out the Google Docs as one does, and we just craft out a list of the bullet points and we just address them over the course of the show. Like, it is no more sophisticated than you think it is. Seriously. Like, the most sophisticated thing on this show is Ryan King's takes on Keeping It 101, and that's about as far as it goes. Pretty much. Episode 101. I need to think of an episode title. Like, do we mention Joseph Newgarden's killer pass on Simon Pagenaud at Gateway?
That was like, I need to go. Like, I couldn't watch it live, so I watched it like delayed. I went back and reversed and watched that pass like 5 times.
I was like, oh my god!
And then Pagano in the post-race interview, where I think Hargett asked, well, whoever was interviewing for NBC asked him, like, Joseph said there was space there, so that's why he took the move. And Simon was like, yeah, there was space there, but if that was anyone else, he'd be in the fence right now.
I'll say this: there was space. There was like a cigarette paper's width of space in that. But it's like, it's the sort of pass where if you get that wrong, you're both in the fence, and then you're having a very different conversation at that point. It was a hero or zero pass from Joseph, and luckily he found a way to make that one work. But holy shit, Joseph! It's like, okay. I was like, okay, this is not a fluke. Joseph's now like favorite to win this championship. Holy crap!
Yeah, especially after what happened to Will, Ganassi pretty much just falling apart.
We have 25 people in the stream right now watching this. Holy crap. Hi, Murray Stewart. Rhino is here. Nice to see you, man. Charles is here. Charles Reginald. Nice to see you, man. Vic's in here. Sasha is in here as well. We got like the entire Motorsport101 alumni in here. It's great. So, King, do you want to go with IndyCar first or Formula One first? Your decision, sir.
Formula One first, because then we can talk about the game after we talk about the race.
Sure. Formula One. Do you have a keeping it 101 for this week? Do you have anything in the sports world you want to go into? Or are you skipping that this week?
It's pretty barren this week.
It's like I don't want to dedicate 10 minutes to Conor McGregor. I really don't.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's like, do we talk about the McGregor fight?
Fuck that. Is my response to that shit. It's like I could talk about how great Manchester United has been to start the season.
Yes, they have been unbelievably good.
And like the paradox of Wayne Rooney, but I might save that for another time. Yeah, it's going to be quite a stacked show, so I'm going to leave keeping it 101 for this week. So we'll go straight into Formula One main event, Belgian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton wins via loophole. I'm not salty about this at all, you guys.
Really?
And that's like in via loophole, brackets, and great defense. Begrudgingly.
It's like I didn't want Lewis to win, but my fantasy team needed Lewis to win.
I hate people like you. It's like, I'm going to sell my soul for my fantasy team. I can't stand you. You don't like Lewis as much as I do. But yet you're like, yeah, got to get those extra 8 fantasy points for the Centennial Cup. Right?
Oh, my God.
If I had Lewis Hamilton on my team, which was very close to happening, because I was like, do I want Hamilton or do I want Vettel for the second half of the year? And it's like, I made an all-out play to get Sebastian. I was willing to throw at least like everything left in my budget to get Seb, which was like 1,200 at that point. And it was just like, I was just sitting there going, I don't give a shit if I have Lewis Hamilton. I want Vettel to win this damn race. I couldn't even celebrate Hungary all that hard because the feeling in the air was just so negative on that win, because it was like, oh, Kimi got screwed, yo. It's like I felt bad celebrating that victory, and it was like I couldn't gloss over that one that much because I actually genuinely felt bad for the set of circumstances that Kimi was in. This time I was like, no, if we can beat Lewis at Spa, oh boy. Oh, if you could beat Lewis at Spa, I will be at half-mast for the rest of the week. Oh, didn't quite happen. Damn it. Like, how many mere second places is Seb going to have this year? This is getting ridiculous. Like, this is the third time now. I'm getting sick of this, King. Vettel, a narrow second yet again. Kimi Räikkönen gets 10 seconds stop-go for ignoring double yellows. Internet has fit. You can't see, but I'm actually typing this out and speaking at the same time. Like Salt Kilimanjaro, Trey says Jason in the chat. Yes, yes, it is. I'm leaving United Talk. Shake my head, says Sasha. Says Sasha, the biggest Man City fan I know on Twitter. Ryan Leonard goes, if Vettel wins at Spa, would have been at full mast. Yes, sir. Verstappen retired. The irony of him parking right in front of the Dutch fans, says Evan. Very true. That's going to be mentioned there. Max Verstappen suffers sick retirement in 12 races.
Hashtag thank God no one drafted him.
Thank God. Didn't RJ draft him?
Oh, yeah. Even though in the entire week leading up to it, I'm like, don't draft Verstappen. Everybody, don't draft Verstappen.
That's his sick retirement in 12 races. I almost feel bad for Max Verstappen, which is just like incredible for me because I can't stand Max Verstappen, but it's like, like a 50% DNF rate and only one of them was his own doing is very, very, very unlucky. Especially when Daniel Ricciardo has now had 6 podiums this year, including a race win.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Daniel Ricciardo scores 6th podium finish. Val and Kimi on restart. Daniel Ricciardo is so good at restart, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he should be like, damn, if Daniel Ricciardo came to IndyCar, man, his restart game. He's
the Ryan Hunter Ray of Formula One. Only much better. Rest in peace, RJ. That's okay. Sasha saying, Verstappen retiring same spot as Schumacher in 91. Hashtag next coming.
Oh, dear.
It's the Brazilian curses he has on him. Still that. There it is. Saying it's the Brazilian curse, King, because he insulted Brazil. It's Brazil's driver, so Verstappen must be jinxed.
Yeah, made that fatal error.
Verstappen suffers sick retirement. Fernando Alonso suffers another.
Kimi?
What's that?
Oh my God. Going down second DRS zone and fucking Monza.
Oh, jeez.
Perez goes one side. Kimi tries to go the other side where there's no room.
He goes full Zonta. Don't ever go full Zonta. Fernando Alonso suffers another DNF. May or may not have deliberately parked car on purpose.
Wouldn't be the first time this year.
Yeah, I have a rant stored up on this. Like, anyone that still feels bad for Fernando Alonso, I think, is being delusional at this point. Like, I don't give a shit how many Indy 500s he takes part in. The man's a buster.
Nah, he's in, you know that mode that NBA players get in, Supermax contract mode, where they know that, yeah, I'm reaching near the end of my career. I need to cash in while I can.
I'm just gonna fleece McLaren for every penny they're willing to give me at this point. Because, McCondretti, ladies and gentlemen.
Which can still be a thing next year.
Which can definitely, yeah. Apparently, going to the box, it doesn't matter what engine this old Nando is on. Anything else to take away from Monza? Oh, yeah. Ferrari retain lineup for next season. Sebastian Vettel signs 3-year extension. Brackets. Moscow, la 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 la. Hey, Luke Higgins, I will be dropping a Lewis Hamilton diss track featuring Rice Gum. Sub to my channel. Haha, jokes. Jeez. Who was driver of the day, Charles? It was Lewis Hamilton, mate.
Yep, winner and driver of the day.
First time this season, Lewis Hamilton has been driver of the day.
Verstappen didn't win because all of the Netherlands was at the track and couldn't vote.
They'd already left early.
Oh my god.
Hey, yes, Torres is in here. He goes, what about this IndyCar silly season finally getting silly? Well, we'll mention that obviously in the IndyCar section, darling, but it's one of those things where it's just like, well, it looks like Andretti's going to keep Honda, so it's like, oh, it's more like a damp squib now than a real silly season. It's more just like it's like someone's just blown a party popper in the background and it just stands there now. The whole thing just looks awkward at this point.
Actually, no. Things are looking very, very silly because Sato left. Remember, Sato left because he couldn't wait on Michael Andretti to make a decision, so they have an open seat at Andretti.
It's true, but like Marshall Pruitt said that like Honda's going to stay with Andretti, so it's like they might only lose the one seat because it looks like Rossi's going to stay.
Yeah, Rossi's going to stay, but who's going to be in the fourth seat now?
Driver for hire, driver for hire, driver for hire, driver for hire. We need Felix in that damn car.
And apparently, due to for two of the drivers, differences with the team, and one driver, their sponsorship is looking a bit shaky. That Chip Ganassi only has like one driver for next year right now.
Hinchcliffe to Ganassi. Hinchcliffe to Ganassi. Hinchcliffe to Ganassi. Let's go.
Hinchcliffe is not leaving his team.
There is nothing better, King, than the tutelage of Scott Dixon. Like, just grasp Scott Dixon's magnificence will do wonders for the mayor of Hinchtown. Just bathe in excellence right there and then.
But yeah, apparently Kanan and Chilton are out, and Kimball might come back, but his sponsorship is looking iffy.
Oh, the pharmaceutical guys might be looking elsewhere because Kimball is just not very good at all this season.
Yeah. Especially hilarious how like the two diabetic drivers got at it on track.
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah. So yeah, talk about F1 2017 as well. Talk about F1 2017 brackets. It's pretty damn good, yo.
There's some minor glitches, which like, oh my god, I've noticed them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that an empty car behind me?
Also, I've got to give a shout out to my girl Chrissy for sending me that delightful F1 2017 care package. She's bae at this point. Like, anyone that sends me a free t-shirt is like, I'm automatically their best friend for life because I love collecting free t-shirts. And notepads. I mean, like, look at this gorgeous notepad right here. This thing is beautiful. Like, it's got the little like bookmark stamp and everything, and I love it. Like, it is so cool. I don't know if I think Christina's watching Bake Off as we speak, but and if you're watching Bake Off today, so you're a dirty, dirty human, and I hate you for watching Bake Off on Channel 4. You devils! You filthy heathens! But in all seriousness, like, Christina, if you're watching, thank you so much. Send me a DM on Twitter. I think it's only fair I send you back a Motorsport101 t-shirt in exchange. Because I think that's just how we do things around here. I love nice gestures. She sent a lovely note as well, by the way. I'll read it out to you. It says, a free mug for all your free tea, plus a notebook for anything you might want to jot down to. Smiley face. Big love from Codemasters HQ. Christina. Aww. What a babe. But, yeah, like, send me all your motorsport care packages. I'm here for all of them. I'm a dirty sellout.
Dirty sellout. It's like, welcome to episode 101, presented by Codemasters Formula 1 2007, the official video game of the FIA Formula 1 World Championship.
I think you said that way too comfortably. Way too friggin' comfortably.
Whoa, that's basically like half my job at work.
You're gonna give out all them company lines. To be fair, that's me right now as well, because it's like it's mystery shopper season right now. So you've got to dot every I and cross every T right now. It's ridiculous.
Oh, but the moment they heard like, oh, Ron, you do broadcasting? Can you like pre-record all the store's announcements? Like, okay.
You've got a good announcer voice. Like, you fit that sort of shit perfectly. Like saying yes, like, oh yeah, I got to mention that in the F1 section as well. Mercedes exploit loophole in fuel burn. Loophole in oil burn. FIA lets them keep it.
Hey guys, we found this cute, durable loophole down the street. Can we keep it?
Yeah, all right. He's really cute. As long as you feed him every day, it's not just for Christmas. Like I mean, in the chat it goes, if there was only a European bake-off to get the Tuesday night bake ratings wars underway, someone tell ITV immediately. They'll be on that shit like Donkey Kong. Joseph, I've got the IndyCar section right now. Joseph Newgarden wins 4th race of the season. Gives Simon Pagenaud love tap to seal the deal. Brackets, sound of silence plays in the background. Willpower accidentally plays piggyback with Ed Carpenter.
Oh my god.
That was a scary one.
Yep, and Will Power basically ended his title hopes right there.
By slipping on some firework residue is the word on the street.
Yes.
That's a first for me. Also, Brett again to Dre, you still ain't mentioned Checo's attempted murder on poor Esteban. It's a very good point. Well mentioned, Ryan. That's very true. I can put that second overall point as well, actually. Force India civil war. Sergio Perez runs Esteban Ocon into wall twice. Somehow gets off without punishment. Brackets. Team orders now implemented. I love that Esteban gave him the grown man speech after the race as well. I was like, there's going to be words here, and man words will be exchanged. Like Esteban breaking out his best broken English, he doesn't quite know what to say, being French and all that. It's like, we're going to give you some man words. That's the one. I love it. I love Esteban. He's great. He's quickly rising up my favorite drivers list because like. He's actually really mature for his age. He's very well disciplined. He's a great driver, and he's very tall. I like tall guys. Like I can relate to that. But geez. But yeah, that's the 3rd time the Force Indies have hit each other this season, and not to mention the Canada drama as well. I mean, Jesus.
Oh my God, this has not been. It's not been good times.
It has not been good times. And, yeah, like, Sergio's got a lot to answer for here because Sergio's been the main culprit in almost all of these. It's like, okay, the Baku one we can call an unfortunate accident, but the other two were both Sergio's doing for the most part. It's like, dude, you were meant to be the next top-tier seat guy. What happened?
McLaren fired him after a year.
Don't tell Nico Hulkenberg that. Gee, so that's a good point. Thanks for that, Glennon. Much appreciated.
The other stuff to talk about. We could talk about Hamilton tying Michael Schumacher's pole record.
Oh, we're not talking about this. Sod this. My man, Michael. He's lost one of his records. Can't stand this. No, but in all seriousness, I'll mention that. What was it? 68 pole positions?
Yeah, 68. 69 breaks the record.
68
well, yeah,
pole position. The tie all-time record.
Talk about Sebastian Bourdais superseding his way back into the field.
Man's a hero. What a guy. I love it. We just got a tweet as well from Michael Morrison on Twitter that goes, damn, it's a bit like he plays the Esteban tweet from earlier. It goes, you were having a good race until Perez tried to kill me 2 times. Oh my God. Man has no chill. Yeah, 68th pole to tie all-time record. Schumacher family sends congrats because they're nice people. But still an update on his damn condition. God damn you, Schumacher family. Oh, dear. RJ's 2 minutes late. I'll give you further updates on RJ's progress when I get them. Oh dear. I agree, Evan. That Cena Reigns promo was fucking hilarious last night. I completely agree.
Oh my God.
John Cena went full scorched earth on Roman Reigns, and it was friggin' hilarious. Just destroyed.
He's like,
wrecked.
Part of me's like, does John Cena care about the WWE anymore? Is he like just gonna like burn the place to the ground and just retire?
It's like Cena's like I love zero fucks given Cena. I think it's amazing. It's like, no, I have no problem rolling over Roman Reigns. I don't give a shit. What are they gonna do? Fire me?
I'm the face of the company.
Can't do that. That was hilarious. Oh yeah, good words as well. Like mentioning Mick Schumacher and then driving the '94 Benetton, which was beautiful.
Oh yeah, and I think I do have a Keeping It 101 for this week.
Oh yeah.
Mick is going to be joined by someone in his family, his cousin David.
Really?
Yeah, he's moving up from karts to racing, and by all accounts, based on his karting results, David Schumacher is a whole lot better than Mick.
Really?
Yes.
Tasty. It's like Mick Schumacher drives 94 Benetton. Everyone gets emotion. Me included. Going back to the gateway section, King. Anything else you want to mention in there before I get into stuff?
Let me see. Because I don't we talk about Dixon keeping his title hopes alive by coming second despite his teammates. Oh my God, Kanaan lose. Yeah, we talk about Kanaan losing it. We talk about Chilton also not finishing the race. We can also go back because we never got to talk about Pocono, about how Chilton had to park the car.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, it's like okay, like Kanaan and Chilton were told to literally park their cars by Chip, but it's like, wait, didn't Kanaan come back from 2 laps down in Texas?
Yeah.
It's like what is this bullshit about parking cars all of a sudden?
No, there's one moment on the commentary that I just love where, how, Paul Tracy always mentions the Pruitt fade, and then then Townsend Bell's like, what do you have against Scott Pruitt, TP? And he's like, PT. And he's like, I don't know. I never really raced against him much. I was always ahead of him.
Paul Tracy has no chill.
And it's how the brother's like, whoa, he has a family out.
Paul Tracy is a goddamn savage. Come on, man. Oh, dear. Okay, controversy at CGR as Chip parks Kanaan and Chilton's cars. Oh, gee. So, yeah, silly season update. Sato leaves Andretti for RLL. Graham Rahal takes the news well. Probably I don't say take news. If this was like a video, you would transition to like the Hitler meme and going banging the table, going 999. Like Rahul's like, no, he's too good a teammate for me. He's going to take points off my hands.
Yep.
Geez. Geez. So let's so we look at that. So yeah, Sartre leaves Andretti for RRL. Andretti still on fence regarding engines, but Pruitt reports they're likely to stay, as is Alex Rossi. Even though, like, Team Connors is currently pulling hard for him to go to SPM alongside Hinch, and I'm like,
I mean, I'd like that to happen too, but, like,
that is
looking like...
Still talk about possibility of Chilton leaving to go to Carlin. I mean, it looks like Kanan looked done. He now looks super done.
Yeah, he's gonna take his talents elsewhere down the field.
He's gonna take his talents to AJ Foyt Racing.
Oh my God. Hey, that could happen. Like Carlos could probably go back to Andretti now.
Has Carlos got his sponsors in gear this time?
I don't know.
A certain RJ O'Connell has just logged on Skype. I don't think he quite got the memo. Like, King, are you going to tell him or am I?
He's going to see the link eventually.
He's hoping. Anything else in the IndyCar section, King?
Any other silly season? No, you talk about like Ganassi, like basically have no idea who's going to be Scott Dixon's teammates next year.
Chip to clear decks outside of Dixon. Felix question mark.
Felix question
mark. Felix question mark. Who knows question mark. Because, like, seriously, if they have 3 seats to fill, like, what the hell are they going to do for that? Oh, Mr. RJ O'Connor's in the room.
Hey. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
There we go.
How are you?
Great. Wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah, all good. We're just finishing up the site list, and then we're going to do this.
Cool,
like,
cool.
I'm a good one at work, Luke. Saying, yeah, like you had one job, RJ. Damn it, says Vic in the chat.
Wait, this is only a couple minutes late. It's not that bad.
Yeah, you know, shoot. I mean, I was too busy just entering raffles to get myself a PS4 or an iPad or $100 free.
$100 free.
Yeah, it was casino night at the call center. You get like tickets to enter in raffles and stuff. I apparently am a lot better at blackjack than I give myself credit for.
You mean the most luck-based of all the casino games, right?
Exactly, the most luck-based of them all.
Hey, but you can be terrible at blackjack regardless of luck.
It's true. It's like it's Austin Powers all over again, and it's like, you have 4, sir. I like to live dangerously. 20 beats your 5. I'm sorry, sir. It's like...
Yeah, it's just like you can't...
Yeah, bro, I mean, we can talk a bit of Formula 2 and how salty I was over Charles Leclerc's disqualification.
Him and Ollie Rowland got disqualified. That's... In fantasy team terms...
And I'm just over here like, bruh, I told you Sergio said the camera was going to do for a second half swing.
Oh, my God.
The guy's quick.
I'll
mention that at the end of the F1 section.
Yeah, he's quick. I didn't think he had the right equipment. That was my big doubt about Sergio.
He drives for MP Motorsport, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can get good things out of MP Motorsport equipment if you are a consistently good driver. There was Oliver Rowland did miracles with that team. Just because Daniel DeYoung, bless him.
Bless him.
Was Dan staking up the joint?
Anyway.
Anyway.
Listen, it wasn't a complete disaster. Artem Markelov did inherit the win. It's not a disaster. It's just I didn't have the chance to gloat and tap dance on King's grave of a team at that point.
Your money spent.
I'm satisfied with my Formula 2 results and my Formula 1 results this weekend, especially my IndyCar results. I'll take 50-50.
Oh, shut up, you bloody New Garden fanboy bastard! No.
I will cease talking when I cease winning.
Yeah, now the New Garden's won more races than anyone else this season. Charles Leclerc gets DQ'd off. Charles Leclerc gets DQ'd off the destroying field. Gray totally isn't salty about this. Although my plan was always to get Charles Leclerc at any cost.
But what is your plan to get, an extra driver at any cost?
Listen, best laid plans and all that, King. No alt to be found here. So anything?
Do I need to be recording locally?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Okay.
We're basically doing this like a normal show, except we're broadcasting live to everyone.
It's live on YouTube. That's all, RJ.
Yeah.
The viewers.
I have a live audience that can see my every move and every reaction. What could possibly go wrong?
As Bannister, if anything, Leclerc got the moral victory. I didn't get the points for the moral victory, though, did I, Bannister? Did I? No.
Yeah. The prestigious FIA Moral Championship.
You mean the one that Fernando Alonso has won the last 5 years running?
Whoa.
Yep.
More Alonso winning moral championships.
5 Pete. So, King, anything for the news section, King? You want to get off your chest outside of
baby.
I could say Liberty Media are interested in 2 new races, one in a very old country and another one in a very, very new, unexpected place.
Liberty Media thinking about 2 new races.
Is the second one Thailand?
It's close to Thailand.
Singapore too.
Okay.
Yeah. RJ talks Suzuka 1000.
Hey, we're gonna play a fun game. We're gonna guess how on brand this race was for Jenson Button.
Oh my God.
Just by taking you through things that happened during Jenson Button's weekend.
Sounds like fun.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else in the news section there, Ken?
Any other news? Quick sweep. We can talk about. Well, we're probably going to talk about that during the race coverage. Mercedes and the oil burn level issues.
You want to move that into the news section then?
Now keep that in the race. Talk about Renault not being ready to sign a second driver for 2018 yet.
City season.
Okay. I think there's a couple of things I want to hit on in terms of Suzuka. First off, great result in GT 500. A team that hadn't won in a while won. GT 300, a team pulled a ridiculous strategy call. The Nismo stream absolutely kind of pooped the bed, and it was no fault of the commentators themselves, who were helpless to stop anything.
Jesus. That does not sound great.
No, it doesn't. What else is there to talk about in the world of race car today?
I think the most craziest silly season rumor that involves both IndyCar and Formula 1 that I've heard so far is that.
Oh, what is it? What? Give me the deets.
The deets are that Mr. Adrian Fernandez is trying to get an IndyCar team together, and he wants He wants Esteban Gutierrez and Sergio Perez.
If they can get Sergio Perez at like the peak of his power away from Formula One to IndyCar, dude, that would be ridiculous.
That would be nuts.
Listen, I know Perez is the most popular man. And I will talk about my feelings of what's happening for scene at any time point. But listen, Sergio Perez is really good. He's still really good. He's just got to calm down just a bit.
He's just in a rough spot at the moment.
You know, he's feeling some kind of way.
Man, but yeah, just the amount of new teams that are coming in the IndyCar. Damn.
So yeah, Fernandez wants all Mexican drivers in a possible new IndyCar team.
Yep. First, Adrian Fernandez was an IndyCar owner-driver at one point in a time in his career.
Which was very interesting.
Yeah. Like, he was still really, really good. And when he switched sides at the last minute before the start of the 2004 season, people were not happy about this.
Yeah, I was one of those people. little me. It's like, why is not? Where is Adrian?
Ryan Hunter-Ray, in Petit.
Oh yes, I get to see Ryan Hunter-Ray. I get to see him race. That's cool. Since I didn't get to see Ryan Hunter-Ray at Barber Motorsports Park this year, I can at least see him at Petit Le Mans.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which is interesting. Like, it's always cool to see.
And I also get to see Team Penske's soft launch into LMP2/DPI.
Yeah. Oh my God, that Acura! It looks awesome.
Yeah, that's a pretty stacked show, actually. Yeah, so okay. I think I've got a full set list here.
Okay.
No, actually, let me do a quick skim of what is going on in the Autosport Plus columns. Let's see.
Why Ferrari real winners of Belgium?
Why do you have all that fuck you money? Just a thought.
Yeah, it's like how idiotic drivers can destroy a team by Gary Anderson. Why Raikkonen remains a risk for Ferrari by Ed Straw. Those are the two I haven't read yet. So
okay, we'll talk a bit about Force India. What's going on there? Okay. Apparently, for Automotor and Sport, Ocon's front wing nearly flew over the fence into the grandstands. Yeah. FIA is alarmed.
Yes, because that's like the one thing that has been deemed unacceptable since 1955. Spectators should not be subject to the dangers of motorsport. It's like that was like a good.
Conversely, print it on the back of your ticket.
Yeah. Because, like, that was, like, 15 years before, like, okay, drivers can be safe now. 15 years before that, it's like, yeah, spectators, you definitely need to be safe now. Because if you're not safe, no one's going to come to this.
Yep.
But I had, like, I saw a bunch of tweets from, I don't remember which journalist, but a journalist basically said that, because where that low fence is where the original main grandstand for Spa was, because that's where the old start finish straight was. And it was like, oh, I don't want to see this view obstructed by a fence. And I'm like, oh no,
dude,
bruh, do you want to do you want to be alive or see the race?
It's I'm trying to wonder, is like bruh an acceptable response to anything that happens in a call center regards to billing questions? Like, bruh. Pay your damn bill.
I would say it's only professional if there's only good news after the bruh.
Yeah. Okay, you guys seen the set list? You guys okay with that?
Let me see the set list. Where the hell is the set list? Oh, there we go. There we go.
The Hangout chat.
Hey. On a wonderful 101st episode, the most on-brand episode of Motorsport 101.
No, we got a title now. Hashtag on brand live show.
The title when we release it on the cover should just be hashtag on brand.
On brand.
Yep, very on brand. Disgustingly on brand. The social media news. After we do the post-production on this episode, we got an interview with Jack Harvey on this very show. Ryan did it last week. It was great.
Jack Harvey from the outside of the ninth row, the 101st Indianapolis 500. How would I know? Simple. I've got the 101st Indianapolis 500 starting grid hung up on my wall.
Oh my God. I loved, it'll come up in the interview, but I loved when he talked about him going to an engineering briefing and he's like, oh my God, it's Fernando Alonso.
Lit.
Okay, let's
Still, it could be worse, guys. I'd keep it at 101 could be about the Game of Thrones season 7 finale.
And also, I think like small news, but
McGregor.
McGregor.
It's like, hey, if you want to tune in on a Sunday night and watch a boring elite beat up on a mismatched underdog, you could just watch Stanford versus Rice for free.
Oh my God.
As Jason Kirk put it on the latest episode of Shutdown Fullcast as to why you should watch this really weird week 0 college football game from Australia over the McGregor fight.
Because JFK said it best, why does Rice play Texas? Not because it's easy. Then we went to the moon. Because of Rice football, we went to the moon.
So what was the other minor news you wanted to add in there, King?
Oh, yeah. The Red Bull Driver Academy. They're dropping the Finnish driver, Nico Kari.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Which is sad to see for, I think he was SMP Formula 4's first champion. Like,
yes, he was the first F4 champion of the Northern European zone. And I had him tapped as like being the next flying Finn. He's 10th in the GP3 Series Championship. He has a podium at the sprint race in Silverstone. He was 10th in FIA European F3. That's decent, but as we all know, Red Bull's junior team have very, very, almost ridiculously high standards.
Yep, which is sad to see that you can pretty much, you're getting kicked off the junior team after like, I think this is his second year on the junior team because they signed him after that F4 season.
What other stuff is happening in the world of...
Okay. Anything, fellas?
Yep.
That's about it. It.
Formula E silly season news. Faraday have a driver next year, and
it's Neil Yanni.
It's Neil Yanni.
Formula E. Yanni joins Faraday Future. Or 1 out for Lizzie losing Loic Duval. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Damn, of everyone on the Red Bull Junior team, no one right now has been there for more than 2 years except for Pierre Gasly. Yeah. Kari and Vishore, they were signed in 2016, and this year they just got Dan Ticktum and Neil Verhagen.
That's America's Neil Verhagen.
Yeah, America's Neil Verhagen. Or say Connecticut's Neil Verhagen.
New England.
So, guys, we ready to go?
Yep.
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Let me take this stupid fucking head off.
Sadly, I have no headphones today. He's going to have a nightmare recording, like picking up my audio on this, so that's going to be fun.
You can't use headphones?
They're not working properly. I'll have to get a new pair at some point. Thanks, Amazon Prime. Okay. So, Audacity's open.
Yeah, Audacity is very much open.
Okay, so, guys in the chat, this is the fun part where we actually start, you
get to learn how we make podcast magic.
Yeah. Right, so Audacity's open. We start recording now.
And to synchronize all of this, we're going to clap. Dre, give us the countdown.
So, yep. After the 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't clap. You just went 1, 3, and then that was.
Yeah, the Google Hangout.
Dumped it.
A little bit. Should we do that one more time?
Okay.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Kings was about half a second later, but we'll take it. So you got a visual aid to help you now.
Visual aid.
Like visual aids always help when it comes to presentation. But see, what you guys may not know about recording this show is that often I struggle to come up with creative intros when it comes to doing this, and it's the one thing I never prepare for when I record, because I've got to open the show, and sadly, genius takes time.
No, we're not going to go with more on brand than Alonso parking his car early.
Why are you ruining?
Did Dre die? Did Dre's internet just collapse?
Rip Dre.
It's like, oh, Google Hangouts is like, we don't need Dre. King's got the intro.
Pour one out for my homie.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. Let's wait here. Create some outtakes. Yeah. I'm feeling we're going to talk about this silly season talk, but man, should Alonso really go back to Renault now of all time?
No, he should go to Williams. I've already got the shirt and the hat to match. It's perfect. I don't have to buy any merchandise. Unless, they sign like some new title sponsor that isn't Martini. And why the fuck would you do that?
Because money.
Because fuck you, money.
Or like Martini is realizing that this branding exercise was a massive mistake.
Somehow my internet dying right there and then was like the most Motorsport 101 that could possibly happen. Hopefully that's the only time this happened. You guys did keep the audio rolling, right?
Yes. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Sweet. Let's try this again, shall we? Take 2. Guaranteed to be more on brand than Fernando Alonso parking his car early. Welcome to the 101st episode of Motorsport 101. This is the part we have to really, it goes to the woo! See the Ganassi and all that good stuff. Right. Welcome to episode 101 of Motorsport 101. 101 squared, the on-brand edition of Motorsport 101. I'm your host, Andre Harrison. And, God, I thought I chose a good time to bring back the old guaranteed intro from yesteryear. Thanks, Lewis, for putting together that in episode 100 to remind me how much easier it could be to do intros. And shout out to all you guys on YouTube listening to this live show. We're doing this live. We are on YouTube as we speak. It'll be a little bit cleaner in the post-production version because we're recording this locally as well. But we are live on YouTube as we speak. Shout out to everybody in the stream that is listening in with us right now. 25 of you guys right now with us listening in. Thank you very much for that. I know we look a bit weird right now, but because my microphone's on my windowsill, that's why I can only see like half my head at all times, unfortunately. But it is what it is. With me, as usual, Mr. Ryan King. Hello, sir.
Hi. And now there's a visual medium to my waving.
How disappointing for us all. And in the blue corner, representing Tennessee as always, Mr. RJ O'Connell.
Howdy, y'all. Listen, I hope y'all didn't make any unwise investments. I mean, like spending $100 to watch a boring elite just beat up on their competition on a Saturday night where you could have just waited a few hours to watch the Belgian Grand Prix.
Oh. Ooh. Or spending $700 on a driver you did not use.
Or upwards of 900 fake dollars of a driver who just ate shit at the top of All Rouge.
Gentlemen, are you finished?
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we're done for now.
More on my Centennial Cup woes later. But, let's get the general housekeeping out of the way. Places you can find us. Our website, motorsport101.net. We are on youtube.com/motorsport101 right now. How about that? We're on facebook.com/motorsport101. We're on Twitter @motorsport_101. And if you'd like to follow us personally on Twitter, we are @Harrison101HD, @RJ O'Connell, and @Ryan Eric King. And that's with 2 Ks. And if you really, really like us, you can back us on Patreon at patreon.com/motorsport101.
Give us your damn money.
It feels right now. Like, that might be the whitest thing I've ever seen in my life. If you back us at the $5 level, you get early access to both this show and Bike Live, which returns later this week. Sotheby has come back from his Silverstone-related holiday, as Andrea Dovizioso is actually a title threat. Who would have guessed that at the start of the season? But all the talk from Silverstone will be in that bumper edition of the show. So look forward to that later this week. We haven't really got to keep it at 101 this week. Kind of, sort of. Like King's got one. Talking about the other member of the Schumacher family they haven't talked about yet. But we'll tackle that, and I think we'll probably drop some F1 2017 stuff in there as well. The video game, because that stuff's cool.
Yeah, video games!
Yay! Nerd culture, crossovers, all that fun stuff. So, let's get into keeping it 101. Again, creative musical interlude here. It's great.
Interludes.
Okay, King. You fought this one up at the 11th hour. Talk to me more about the other members of the Schumacher family.
The other members. Okay, well, we have one David Schumacher, who recently announced that he's going to be moving up from karting to German Formula 4 next year, which his cousin was in. His cousin Mick was in last year. And it's kind of like there's a new, shinier Schumacher on the table, but again, he's not as hyped up as his cousin because, you know, he's the son of Ralf Schumacher, not the son of Michael.
I was just about to ask if he was the son of Ralf Schumacher.
Yes, yes. And he's currently doing phenomenal in karting. I think currently they're halfway through the European karting season. He's second in the German karting championship, so there's a shot for him to win that. And right now he's 6th in the European championship.
Damn. That's some cotton pedigree right there. Jeez. I had no idea that Ralf Schumacher had a son that was also in racing like that. So that's actually pretty freaking neat.
Funny though, the first time I heard about David was when Ralph got in that tiff with Alonso's karting circuit, getting on the European Championship schedule, while, you know, the Schumacher family circuit's never been on the European Championship schedule.
I see, of course. It all makes sense. We're tying that down because we saw Mick Schumacher get an exhibition event during the Belgian Grand Prix weekend where he got to drive his dad's old, I think it was the 1994 Benetton, I want to say it was.
Yeah, it was the 94 Benetton. They only changed out a couple of stickers on it. Mick had like this crazy like half helmet where half of it was his father's old 1994 helmet design and the other half was his own livery.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. As a helmet enthusiast, I can tell you that is top tier right there. Very cool shit. But that hit me right in the feels because, you know, like I was a huge Schumacher fan growing up, and just seeing his son out there doing what his dad did, very, very cool. I have to say that's a shout out to Mick on that one. Like everything about him just reminds me of Michael, and I mean that like again, there's a level of obviousness in that because obviously he's his son, but at the same time, it's like he sounds like a young version of Michael. He looks like a young version of Michael. He has all the mannerisms already. He's got the helmet design. He's totally on brand with the family line, and that is so cool. I would love to see him in Formula One day because, like, you know, a second generation Schumacher in the modern day would be pretty sick, especially if he ends up being half the talent that if he's half the talent his dad was, and he's gonna be very, very cushy in Formula One, so to speak. So yeah, that was very, very cool indeed. So congrats to Mick. That was a really cool moment, and yeah, a lot of dry eye in the house on Twitter when that was going on. And shout out to the Formula One YouTube channel. They did a great job of putting the side-by-side footage together. That was very, very cool as well. Like, I'm glad.
Nice.
I'm very glad that Liberty Media and the guys that are running the YouTube channel are actually digging into their archives to bring up footage like this, especially some of the older onboard footage. Because like in the run-up to this weekend, they had like the onboard when he was fighting Schumacher in 2000. And of course, that pass down the Kemmel Straight with Zonta in the middle, and seeing it from that angle, it is so sick. Just seeing the three of them going three wide down the Kemmel Straight, and then like the previous lap when Schumacher pretty much cut Hakkinen off right on the apex. It's firmly in the bracket of moves that would not fly in 2017. But in 2000, it was fair game, pretty much. Yeah, just unbelievable stuff from the F1's YouTube channel. Great job on them for using their archive. Like, their F1 channel is getting better and better by the week. I don't know if you've been watching it, but I'm a big fan of the Grid 2017, just seeing how the guys interact with each other. Even the really awkward ones like Sauber, where they don't really get along, but it's like, we will come together for the sake of answering quiz questions. And
gotta look good in front of the media.
Yeah, and you know how terrible they all like. The one that was funny was Renault. Like Renault, for example, with like Hulkenberg and Palmer. Like those two blatantly did not get on answering those questions. Like Palmer thinks he's such a know-it-all, and Hulkenberg thinks he knows everything. So it's like two guys with enormous egos beating heads of each other all the time. It's hilarious. But yeah, F1's doing a genuinely great job of getting their media out there. The new approach I'm definitely a big fan of. Speaking of new media. For those guys that are watching on YouTube, this came out this past week. I have the Steelbook edition because it's very pretty. Because in the world of gaming, we all need more Steelbooks. Steelbooks make everything better. And yes, F1 2017 came out. I love that everybody on here has got like all the moody, serious faces, except for Daniel Ricciardo, who like literally can't help himself because he looks like he's just stolen Sebastian's lunch money out of his back pocket. I think that's fantastic. But
Daniel didn't get the memo. You got to have that like stoic cover pose sort of deal.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the arms crossed, the pose into the camera, like it's a Monday Night Football game. Lewis Hamilton, University of Stevenage. And yeah, the arms up, the pose, the grumpy look, like yeah, I'm serious. I'm a racing driver. Yeah, F1 2017 came out this past Friday. Before I really get into it, I just want to say now we're actually recording this live. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to Christina and the guys on Cody's team for not only letting me into the public beta so I could actually test the game before it came out, but also sending me a really friggin' cool care package, which included a t-shirt, a pen, a mug, which is now residing in my bookies at work for all our free tea that we drink, and this really cool notepad as well. Because Catherine will love me for this one. Catherine Brennan, I know you're listening to this. Who loves a good notepad? This is so sick. It's such gangster. I am not above sending out for the cause. So shout out to everyone at Cody for sending me that cool stuff. Really appreciate it. This kid just looks sort of a disgusted look on his face. But Dre, you sell out. I was like, I didn't sell out. I bought in. So thanks to Christine and everybody at Cody's for hooking me up with that cool stuff. Maybe next year, if we grind out enough, you can get on the press release list. Who knows?
We should definitely start. We should definitely start a co-op championship. That'll definitely get us on the press release list.
Yeah. Can't be any worse than Ben's vids. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Dig that one out, Sam. But yeah, I have to say, geez, it is funny that this game's out now, and I mean, King, what did you make of it all? The game's been out for a few days, and for me, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a fantastic game. I mean, what do you think?
Since I only play career mode and pretty much only career mode, to me, it's the best Codemasters game that the best Codemasters Formula 1 game they've ever put out.
I think so. The reviews for it have been insanely good. They're in the upper 8 sort of range. I think they're batting at about 87 on Metacritic right now, which is by a mile their highest score for an F1 game they've put out in recent times. Man, I think it's justified for the most part. I mode guy myself. I think the career mode itself is fantastic. The hand-in model of the game is great. It's very satisfying to play in the sense of normally when in my days of Let's Playing, in my days of Let's Playing, I was a live commentary sort of guy, but because the game was so floppy on hand and you could talk while playing at the same time quite easily. In F1 2017, you can't do that. The game is just it sucks you into its zone where you have to concentrate hard to drive, and the more you put into it, the more rewarding it is on the back end. I think it's fantastic in that sense. It's harder to pass cars this year because they nerfed the slipstream effect, so that definitely helps.
Well, they kind of nerfed it because that's how the cars are in real life.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't slipstream quite as much this year because, the cars themselves are, it's very authentic to real F1 right now. The one-stoppers are overpowered and you can't really tow anybody anymore. But, overall, I think it's a fantastic game. The new R&D tree is great. I love the fact that you can basically build your own version of the car, basically, and you choose, where to develop. You can improve the car's reliability, or you can go down the road of chassis development, powertrain development, or aero development, depending on, where your car might have weaknesses compared to others. Because every car is different in career mode, and every team develops differently as the career mode goes on. It's all at random. So no two career modes are ever quite the same.
Unless you're at McLaren.
And in this case, unless you're in McLaren, it's all terrible all day. Shout out to my man Scott Woodwis for doing that. And on a serious note, shout out to Ben for being masochistic enough to pick McLaren for a career mode. You're a better man than me, Ben. I'll give you that. But that is, that's kind of nuts in that sense. Yeah. That's
I had to look at the system. I had to look at the system requirements for this thing. I think I got to do a little bit of upgrading if I want to get this game because it sounds badass. I just don't have enough RAM for it.
Yeah,
it's great, and you've got the classic cars they've thrown back in there as well, and they are stacked full of them from the 80s, 90s, and
God, I want it.
Even the 2010 Red Bull RB6 is in there as well, which won Red Bull's first championship in 2010. And they feel significantly different. I've driven the F2004 game. I don't know about you, but it's so fast. It is as fast as the
Admittedly, it's more realistic than the original one. Like when you say it's so fast, it's so grippy. Like you could take all the corners, but there's like no top end speed.
Yeah, it's like playing Wipeout again. It's just like, oh, this Faisal's really fast. Like it's like it's got all the handling ability, but like they haven't got the top end speed that the modern cars have. But like the amount of mechanical grip is just off the charts. It's ridiculous. Or if you drive the Red Bull RB6 in 2010, like it's so it feels so much lighter than driving the modern cars. You can just chuck it into corners, and like the car will hold you off, and it will carry you through those corners. It is ridiculous to drive those cars. I'm not saying the game is perfect. Like you've probably seen the reports of online being broken, because it kind of is right now. They released a patch today for the PS4 and PC to address some of the problems. It's a shame that the online beta didn't go to plan, even though they only had 300 people in it. It didn't really go great. There was problems back then, and the problems seem to have carried over, which is a shame. There's still numerous glitches that need to be ironed out, which is the same deal with every Cody's game. Really, there's always a good chunk of release date bugs that need ironing out. We work with certain guys that are making those glitch videos for the first 2 weeks the game comes out, and then they patch them later. And you're not looking at you.
I've only noticed like I've only noticed 3 like big glitches during my time playing the game. Like one thing that constantly happens is the skybox, the clouds, like it constantly glitches out where it's like it stutters and stuff like that. Also, the drivers kind of like sometimes just disappear from their cars, where like you're racing against an empty car. And then another one is the textures sometimes just don't load in. So it's all like just blurry, pixelated textures.
Yeah, I've seen that. So, my brother's had that on the PS4 because he's got the PS4 version of the game, and he's had a couple of where the helmet won't render properly. It's very weird. So again, it's far from perfect. It's still got, sadly, the yearly problem of Cody's early game release gremlins, but hopefully they'll be ironed out real soon, because the core gameplay I think is fantastic and the career mode is great. I just pray to God they can fix multiplayer, because that is where the money is going to be for a lot of people, especially the league racers out there. That the guys, the Limitlesses, the TR Martins of the world, the guys that are going online and in the AOR and racing every weekend.
I don't think that's where the money is. I think that's just where the loudest complaints are going to come from.
That too. Like, let's be real here. But yeah, that's all. Always going to be a thing, because those guys are very deeply invested in it. And
esports
championship,
esports.
Woo! We're going to see Noble dominate another championship. But again, great for Formula One to have esports, and I'm delighted that Cody's are the ones that are running it, and apparently they've worked very, very hard behind the scenes to make that happen. So, and that's great. Like, esports is fantastic, and I'm glad that there's more of an esports influence in racing games in general. I mean, before, not too long ago, the only game we had represented was Trackmania, for freak's sake. So I'm glad that we're getting.
Remember when the pinnacle of motorsport-related esports was the Vegas E-Prix?
Yeah, or we could go back further. Remember when the best we got was like one race of Project Gotham Racing during the championship gaming series? Like, that was about as far as it got back then.
man, I just got to say, Trackmania Nations, like World Cup Edition, like that was legit, and it was free, and it was so much fun. You could get like hours and hours of great gameplay out of it if you had the right controller. If you were just using it on a keyboard, you might as well just go fuck yourself.
So yeah, with all that in mind, I think they've got a very, very good core package for Formula One 2017, and like, for me personally, this is definitely their best game in the series so far, and this is finally the F1 game that I think has hit the most amount of potential for Cody's in the grand scheme of things. Like, this is like basically a done over 2013, and I think that is a good place to start, because I think 2013 was where the series about peaked in terms of just.
That was the last one that I had.
I
play it all the time.
Had the classic cars, the extra tracks, the bonus content, and the cars themselves weren't that fun to drive, but yeah, overall, I thought 2013 was the best game in the series beforehand. I think 17 is the best since then, and I think it's a slightly better game because the game itself is more fun.
Yeah, like
So
when you hit like race 3 and race 4 of career mode, where reliability starts coming into play for not only you but the other cars. Oh my god, it's so much fun.
I've just done 2 races so far. I'm starting Bahrain's weekend probably tonight. So
and McLaren have already used their 4th engine.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. But yeah, I will probably do at least 1 full game review video of the game itself in the next couple of weeks when I find some time. I've still got my old capture card growing dust somewhere in the corner of my bedroom, so I might put it to use for something. So stick around. There'll probably be more on that, in the coming days. So look forward to that. And who knows? I might do a one-off career mode episode or something like that. Like I'll come out of retirement for one night only. It's like, yeah, let's do Bahrain. Oh no, my engine's failed. Great episode, guys. See you in Baku.
Is that Paul the rest to come back?
Yeah, like stick to reporting, son, basically. But that'll just about do it for Keeping It 101. Let's get into Formula One and the Belgian Grand Prix. Okay. Right. So, Formula One is back after its summer break, and
it didn't catch up on its reading list. It didn't do any of it. You know when you get that summer reading list, you're just gonna start on it like the first week you get into school. Shit.
Yep.
Like if you're really desperate, you're going to get those cliff notes. But other than that, you haven't started on that summer reading list because you just want to hang out at the pool all day.
It's me. Like every time I sign up for a new gym membership, it's like first week, this is great. Week 2, maybe next week.
Nah. Renault was like the Renault power unit department. They're like, we're going to South of France. We're not doing anything.
It's like, well, sod them. Red Bull's not got our name on the marquee. Like, why are we helping them? More on that later. But, gang, Hamilton wins. Lol.
I'm both happy and sad.
Yes.
I'm okay with this.
Happy because his Centennial Cup team leader won the race. Delightful news, of course.
Yes.
But sad because, well, he's not the biggest Lewis Hamilton fan in the world. But yes, Lewis Hamilton wins his 58th career race. And on top of that, also ties, I should say, the all-time pole position record from Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher had 68 pole positions in his career. Lewis Hamilton now also has 68. And I have to say, I mean, it was a very nice moment to have, like, Will Buxton come out, obviously, they're basically their MotoGP rip-off of let's interview the guys straight after the session is over and park the cars up on the grid and have Buxton shove the microphone in their face. Totally original idea. But it's like, okay, Lewis, I'm sure you've realised what you've done today. Here's Ross Brawn. It's like, hey, Ross Brawn is here. Hey, we like Ross Brawn. Yay. And then he goes out and says, oh, yeah, the Schumacher family wants to say congratulations. And then I love that all of F1 social media was like, oh, Lewis is in tears. And I'm like, he wasn't in tears. He was just very happy.
Yeah, it's not like when he tied her to the center. Clear then he was shocked.
No, there was a difference there. It's like, because we all know, like, everybody knows that Hamilton was a Senna guy, not a Schumacher guy. And then he's had the honour of racing with Schumacher, obviously, during his comeback, but he was always a Senna guy. And, everybody knows that. So it was never going to be quite the same. But a lovely gesture from the Schumacher family to pass on their congratulations.
And of course, the next time Hamilton wins the pole position and takes the record will truly be the nicest pole position of all time.
I knew that was coming. Knew it was coming. I tried to stop it.
Hey, Lewis, 69 is available. You can always switch your number. Always switch your number.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, you can bring Rita Ora back into the paddock and give her a nice twerk to celebrate.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, 68 pole positions for Lewis Hamilton, and I begrudgingly at work gave him a standing ovation as a congratulations because I'm a classy, humble Sebastian Vettel fan.
Yeah, but what about the race, though?
What about the race, though?
An eternal beacon of disappointment yet again. Like, okay, I'm going to be real with you on this. Okay, like this is like reports from the Dre Vettel camp right here. It was a good second. Like, honestly, I thought going into this weekend, I thought Lewis Hamilton was going to curb stomp everybody. So the fact that Seb was pretty much competitive, and I mean, the race was basically a glorified time attack pretty much the entire way through between Lewis and Seb. And it's like after the pit stops, Vettel lost time, he gained it back again. It felt like Hamilton was playing possum for the most part. Turns out we now know why he was so fast after the safety car came out. More on that in the news section. But
well, we could talk about how he disagreed with the fact that there was a safety car even called.
Why does Lewis do this to me, King? It's like every time I like warm to Lewis again when he goes like 2 weeks without saying something stupid. He goes and says something stupid, I think the quote was they were trying to copy NASCAR, brought out a safety car for entertainment purposes, when there is a heaping chunk of Esteban Ocon's front wing dead center in the middle of the track down the hill towards Ravelon, and it's just like, Lewis, no, just unquestionably. No.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, Lewis.
Oh my God! I got the quote from Lewis on the radio. There's no debris anywhere. BS call from the stewards.
Yeah,
and after the race, he said, "Well, I felt it was a bit like NASCAR, where they keep pulling out the safety cars for no reason. The wing was cleared. After we'd slowed down, they could have done a virtual safety car, but I guess they wanted to see a race. That's for sure the reason they did that, because there was hardly any debris, if at all. They cleaned it so well."
They cleaned it so well. So in other words, they did their job properly. What a guy, Lewis. What a guy.
Oh,
brilliant observational skills. Lewis. It's like if he never said anything, he'd be a lot more likable. It's just the frustrating way. It's just like, he just says so many dumb things sometimes, and this is just another one of those things to qualify, which is a shame, because it was a magnificent drive from Lewis.
To be honest, about Lewis Hamilton, on track, I like him. Off track, I like him. But there's that middle in-between part where he's right before and after each race, where it's like, can you please just not say anything? Just get through this.
Just don't say any go back to McLaren Lewis Hamilton for just 10 minutes after a race immediately finishes. Bring back Corporation Hamilton.
You can go home next day, ball out all you want, because I don't care.
Yeah, man. That'd be great right there. It's a shame. It was, like I said, it was a magnificent drive from Lewis. That was 44 laps, 44, of sustained pressure from Sebastian Vettel pretty much the entire Grand Prix, especially after the safety car, the second safety car, where basically Seb was on the ultra soft tire and Hamilton was on the soft tire, and I was sitting there going, easy pickings, here we go. We got him now. And then there's like, oh, what do you mean the Mercs is just as fast on the soft tires as the friggin' ultra softs? I hate this sport. I wasn't salty, slightest.
I love, besides the controversial part that we'll get to later, Lewis actually employed some ingenious defensive driving tactics where he'd lift going into Eau Rouge so Vettel couldn't go flat out through Eau Rouge to chase him down.
I have to say, that is straight up gangster shit from Lewis Hamilton right there. That was an incredible bit of nous from Lewis.
It wasn't dirty. It wasn't underhanded. It was just solid.
Yeah. Dude knows how to drive.
Yeah, it's almost like he's one of the 6 or 7 best drivers of all time or something. Yeah, it's like, I just sit back and I just go, and I was like, you motherfucker. Like, I was so angry when I read that, but only because it was like Ronnie O'Sullivan levels of genius right there, just to concoct something up like that. Like 95% of drivers ever would not think something like that, and Lewis is in that 5% that is just zen-like when it like Mark Webber made this point saying that Lewis Hamilton. He said that Lewis Hamilton was on Schumacher's level when during the pre-race build. I was like, whoa. Like that's a bit of a hot take there, Mark. Like, settle down for a second. And the reasoning he used for this was because he said that like Michael made mistakes, but Lewis just doesn't make mistakes under pressure. And then that race happens, and it kind of proved Mark's point. And it's like, shit. Like, Lewis just didn't crack under 44 laps of just insane pressure. He did not put a wheel out of place, and that was utterly infuriating. There's a Seb guy here in second. But, for me personally, I thought that, Seb keeping up in second. I thought Ferrari were going to get smoked here. They are actually pretty darn competitive out there. So that's made me feel a bit better about the second half of the season for sure, that Seb was able to stay with Lewis pretty much the entire race. It just proves that, that what we've always kind of known, that it's a class of two in Formula One right now. It's a class of two, and then there's everybody else. Like you've got that, so you've got those two, you've got the next bracket of like Alonso, Val, and Ricciardo, and maybe Verstappen you can chuck in there too, but those two are just... They're very, very special. And, like those two have been beating the piss out of each other all season long, and it's only going to continue for the rest of the season, I reckon. Sorry, Val, maybe next year. But, sorry, King. But, but it's just like those two, I think, are just on another level, King.
Yeah, he really is. Man, this is the title fight we've been waiting for since, 2010?
Like, they were second fiddle in 2010 to Webber, still kind of 7 years ago. There was Webber v Alonso, and they ended up like trying to get past some Russian dude while Hamilton and Vettel were at the front of that day. It was almost like at the time. Like Tracer in the chat just goes, 20 points. One of them had a Mercedes engine, one didn't. Yeah, very true indeed. But there was actually a lot of drama in this race. The lead fights that we will know, and sadly we are now going to cut Jay O'Connell to tell us more about Panthers.
Okay. This whole Civil War at Force India has me feeling some kind of way here. In case you missed it, on the very first lap of the race, Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon collided after the start. They catch up to each other eventually in a battle for position. And coming down to the descent to Eau Rouge, Ocon holds the inside line. He's got a wing underneath Sergio Perez. Perez just kind of fades right into him. And oh, shit, there's a wall to Ocon's right. And oh, goodness, now his front wing is chopped off, and now Perez has a blown-out tire. This was starting to escalate after Azerbaijan, if you remember that incident where similarly one of them just kind of chopped the other off coming out of a corner, and it ruined one of their races. I believe it was Perez who got the worst end of this deal. Perez gets the worst end of this deal again, and now everybody is upset, and now Force India are having to tell their kids, hey, y'all just chill for a second. Just cool it. Fix your face.
They told him to take your ball and go home because nobody can play together anymore. They basically said that, Force India said this is not going to happen again. We're not going to let them race anymore, basically.
And they pretty much said if it happens again, you could expect a race ban from us here at the team.
Yeah, they're going to go right over the top of like the penalty points. They're just going to go like, fuck it. Nikita Mazepin, Do it.
Get in there, Nikita.
They're gonna stick one of their boys in the sin bin, so to speak, or the American version, the penalty box. But
it's bad when freaking Jacques Villeneuve is the voice of reason with his recent comments today on Perez for driving dirty. Listen, I know Perez kind of races with a bit of an edge, and some other people haven't been happy with him lately. But this is still a really good team. It's just a shame that they can't get their shit together. And cooperate on the same level. If they weren't decisively the fourth best team on the grid, every race in and race out, they would probably be in trouble losing fourth place, especially if this keeps up.
Absolutely. It's absolutely that, and it's a shame because they are an excellent team, as you say. They are the clear fourth best team in Formula One right now, and Esteban Ocon has been nothing but consistent and incredibly impressive, and pretty much running nose to tail with Perez all season long. And this is now the third time that the feathers have been ruffled with this team during an incident this year. We saw it obviously in Baku, where Perez got the worst of it then when Ocon had a exuberance pass down the inside as one of those 90-degree street circuit corners that Herman Tilke loves so much. We saw it at Canada when they had arguments over which car should be in front as the rampant Vettel came from behind. Seeing the arguments like whether Ocon should have been let through, and basically Force India couldn't decide what to do. And now this is basically strike free from Force India. It's like, okay, guys, you two clearly can't race together, and it's a shame because it's like Force India have got this so easy. They're the clear fourth best team in F1. There is no competition for them out there in that spot right now. Williams is too inconsistent. Renault's only got one effective driver right now, and Haas isn't quite there yet. So they've got that fourth place on lock right now, and just not good from Force India, so to speak, on that one. And I'm stunned that Sergio Perez didn't get any sort of grid drop or penalty point punishment for next race for what he did, because that was very reminiscent to me of when Michael Schumacher ran Rubens Barrichello extremely close to that wall in Hungary in 2010, where like Schumacher, you know how little Chilio and he's willing to run Rubens up against the wall. That's your man's. Like, come on. And it was pretty much an identical incident here where it's just like, dude, what's he doing? But yeah, I love that Esteban was very stout in the post-race press conference where he said, I'm going to give Sergio some man words. I'm not afraid of him.
And so what does he do? He heads on to Twitter. He puts out
good old Twitter.
Oh my god. Where it's
where
like
he accuses Checo of trying to kill him twice.
all the stuff that has gone down on Twitter recently, because I know we have a lot of stuff that's not on the set list that went down on Twitter over the weekend.
Sean Rahal versus Sage Karen 2. It's the scrap of the Waffle House. And there's your IMSA highlights. Congratulations.
I'd book a flight to Atlanta, Georgia to see a scrap in a Waffle House parking lot.
I would pay good money on pay-per-view to see Lally versus race car Twitter's adopted trash bag son. That would have been great. But yeah, Ocon goes on Twitter and basically says, Perez tried to kill me twice. No chill. None whatsoever.
No tweet and delete. No tweet and delete either. It's still up there. Last time I checked.
As we speak, it is still there. And of course, he had the very team-centric PR team-esque response via an iPhone note page, of course. Like all good apologies are written on these days. Saying, I apologize for what I had to say. I apologize for my partners. We're going to come together as a team and we'll rally on for Monza next time. Yeah. All those good, encouraging, PR-centric things. But you probably got a strong letter from the HR department regarding that one.
Got a strong coaching.
It is what it is, man. But it's a shame. It is a shame because I like Force India. I like their team a lot. It's a great team. Esteban Ocon has hit the ground running, joining that team. But yeah,
shall we talk about the King of Spa?
Yeah, we'll
Shout out to the King of Spa.
That's the thing,
himself,
right?
Kimi Räikkönen. Yeah, Kimi Räikkönen. Jeez. And for Kimi, it was a shame. It all started so well for him. He looked super strong in practice. I thought, okay, Kimi's doing Kimi things at Spa again. Yeah, it went south quite a bit in qualifying. He had to abandon his real hot lap at the end. Ended up giving Seb a tow instead. And, of course, that put Seb on the front row alongside Lewis. Bottas surprisingly off colour this weekend. But, yeah, like Seb starting for second. Raikkonen was never really in that lead fight. Was behind Val most of the way. But then when Max Verstappen's car suffered an engine failure, again, more on that in a minute, Raikkonen ignores the double wave, the yellows around Max's car as they were moving it off the track, and the stewards came down at him like a ton of bricks. A 10-second stop-and-go penalty, pretty much the maximum penalty the stewards can give out outside of a DQ. Of course, King caused the internet to flip its collective shit because immediately they went back to Baku and Sebastian Vettel's 10-second stop and go for dangerous driving. And it's like, why is Raikkonen getting a 10-second stop and go when Vettel rammed another driver on purpose? And King, did you see my delightful Twitter ether regarding that quite quickly?
No, I did not.
Dude, he didn't even lift.
Yeah,
he did not even lift.
Bang to rights. He blatantly, like, it is an undisputable, blatant ignorance of double waved yellows. For those guys that don't know, double waved yellows means slow down and be prepared to stop, basically. And Raikkonen goes through it at full racing speed. 10-second stop and go. And I said this on Twitter during the race itself. The last time somebody blatantly ignored double wave yellows, the guy died. That's probably the reason why.
Yeah, and it's slow down and be prepared to stop in case, some person were to happen to fall in front of you or, step in front of your path without realizing you're coming, because that can cause serious harm to, the person who stepped into your path and yourself.
Right,
exactly.
Goodness. So, Lord knows how many sports car racing broadcasts I've listened to in the last few years where the commentators are going off about how quickly the cars are driving while there's a stop car and while there's rescue vehicles and safety crews working on the side. So it's not just an F1 thing.
Yeah.
It's not just an F1 thing. And any rule that endangers people in terms of safety breaches is going to be clamped on hard. And I'm glad that the stewards dished out basically the biggest penalty they could for something like this, because what Raikkonen did was blatantly super dangerous. And yeah, like I have no problem with the 10-second stop and go at all. Again, a lot of people on the internet did, and I was like the amount of people, King, that tweeted me, fair point after I put that out there regarding what happened with Jules. It was a good half dozen. I'm not even humble bragging this. Like, it was a good half dozen. It was like, Dre, that's actually
I'm surprised after, that incident that, ignoring double waved yellows isn't a disqualification now.
Like, it probably should be, in all fairness. Like, because that is just so dangerous. Like, man, like I would not have a problem if that was an EQ. I'd be totally okay with that. And the same way that I was for those guys that are going to comment on this being snipey, like it's the exact same I said with Seb. If he got DQ'd for ramming into Lewis, I would have completely understood the decision. It's you just can't do shit like that. And yeah, I find it amazing that Raikkonen like was completely oblivious to this on the team radio when he found out he was getting a 10-second stop and go, and it was like, Kimi, you drove past the car at full speed.
Because the thing is that the culture in Formula One, that they were so used to this. So by the point that they actually started enforcing it, they're like, "What? Why am I getting penalized for doing something that I've always done?"
Yeah, it's a very good point. Yeah, I was like, I think it was Sergio Perez that talked about it after the Jules incident in Japan in 2014, where it was just like he said, listen, drivers are always going to take liberties like this. And I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right, Sergio, which is why they should clamp down on shit like this. And I'm glad that the FIA is starting to do that now, because what Raikkonen did was awful.
Because I know this is like a completely different scenario, but you get this all the time anytime you watch the NBA, where they don't really call traveling because it would slow the game down tremendously.
Right.
It's the same situation where the FIA never really called out people for double wave yellows because it would make the races less entertaining.
Yeah. It basically took Raikkonen completely out of play until the second safety car came out later in the race, which led to Raikkonen getting done up by Daniel Ricciardo again. So, that was always fun. Speaking of which,
it's still more Centennial Cup points for me.
Shut your damn mouth, RJ. You get to humble brag later. Speaking of which, Red Bull Racing itself, bit of a mixed bag this weekend.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Max Verstappen, first of all, who, by the way, had the most glorious special helmet design for this weekend. I loved it.
Oh, it was wonderful.
The glossy orange helmet that he had for this weekend. That should be his permanent race helmet. Sub the boring, purple Red Bull, slapped on matte purple Red Bull logo on the side. Make that your full-time helmet, Max, because that was fucking awesome.
Shoot, they got a Red Bull orange edition. They can market that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I don't like about the new era of driver helmets. Just to go on a bit of a tangent, but
go on, King, it's all yours.
but when drivers decide to get team colored helmets, which in effect is going to be the same color as the car that they're driving. Some drivers pull it off well. I like Kevin Magnussen's Haas helmet. Jenson Button had his, Braun GP helmet. That was good. But it's inherently, it kind of defeats the purpose of having your own helmet design. It's going to be the same color as a car.
He's Daniel Ricciardo's always had really nice helmets, and Daniel's this year has got the enormous matte purple Red Bull logo all over the side of it, and it's it ruins it. I've never been a fan of that. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right, King. To be fair, on brand helmets is not good. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not the old school head that says that drivers have to change helmets. Listen, I'm a Sebastian fucking Vettel fan. How can I ever say drivers have to stick with the same helmet design every week? Because I'm not that guy. But I do get what some of the old heads say about the helmet basically being a signature for a driver. So I get that. I totally understand that point of thinking. And yeah, having a fully branded team color helmet is just so boring, and it's just it's a wasted opportunity. So for Max breaking out the burnt orange, very nice. Not so nice. As it turns out, that Max Verstappen suffered his 6th DNF in 12 races so far this season. And for those that are keeping score at home, Max has as many DNFs now as Daniel Ricciardo has podium finishes this year. And of those 6 Max DNFs, 5 of them were not his own doing, which is... no matter which way you slice it, is insanely unlucky. King, if you're Max Verstappen, how frustrated must you be? Even more so when Daniel Ricciardo is crushing it this season.
That is Mark Webber levels of frustration.
The irony, of course, that the minute that Max Verstappen went up, we were all thinking that, Ricciardo's going to be shuffled down to second fiddle for Golden Boy Max Verstappen, and now we're just pulling a hard 180, be skirt! No, why is Max Verstappen getting the second lackey treatment? He should be better than Daniel Ricciardo.
It's
the guy you build your team around.
Because it's on sheer pace, and from what I've seen of them on track this year, I think Max is actually a little bit faster than Daniel right now. And it's just he's not. Yeah, I think he is faster than Daniel. I think Max has improved now to the point where I think he might be a better all-rounder than Daniel Ricciardo. And that's not a light sentiment, because we all rate Daniel Ricciardo as a top 3 driver in the field right now. Ricciardo is a fantastic friggin' driver, and Max, I think, is outdoing him right now. It's just,
and of course, we are the quote unquote Max Verstappen bashers
Yes.
on the internet. The people that just
bit of
hate his
bashers,
guts.
apparently. Like, also, like, none of us really like him all that much, but at the same time, it's like we all can appreciate the fact that Max is killing it right now. But it's just he hasn't got the results to show for it, and it's awful because we are robbing the field of one of the most entertaining guys in the field is not being able to drive the car right now. And like, as I said, Ricciardo has had all the blessings in the world this year with, again, 6 podium finishes this season, including that race win in Baku. One that was just not on the table at all for him under normal circumstances. But that's Daniel Ricciardo for you, always in the right place at the right time. And again, to be fair, he was outstanding on that restart at the end of the race to quickly find ways around Raikkonen and Val to get into that 3rd podium spot and was able to hold on to it. Another brilliant Daniel Ricciardo performance by any measure, but it's like, once again, Max was seeing it from the sidelines. I mean, like
at what was effectively his home race too.
Yeah, like 90,000 fans in there, the majority of them wearing orange. It's like, hey, KTM's turned out in force. But
golly,
yeah, like,
they love Raymond van Barneveld in Belgium.
Yeah, they do. Barney's got those fans out there, but yeah, it's
this is why Matt should have worn lime green.
Yeah, luck of the Irish. Maybe going down that road instead, because like if you look at the pictures, if you look at the Kemmel Straight, a sea of orange down the Kemmel Straight. It was ridiculous. The grandstands absolutely loaded in orange. And,
Formula One themselves estimated the attendance to be 265,000 people.
Jesus Christ!
Wow. That is utterly insane. Like, the Belgians have been gripped with Max fever. That is.
Yep.
It's everybody from Holland.
Is that the most ever for a Belgian Grand Prix?
That is. I don't know if it's the most ever for a Belgian Grand Prix. It most likely is, because I think like this year's race is definitely the most attended race on the calendar, beating Britain for like the first time in like forever.
Yes. Get in there, Belgium. I love Belgium, so I'm glad it's pounding the UK. Like, suck it, British Racing Drivers Club. You'd have known. But
right. Just calm down, because people don't like people talking about Brussels beating down on Britain.
Like, you know what? Like, Sotheby, if you're listening to this, I demand you cut this line out and you put some audio form of Zoe Hamilton shouting independence. That would be perfect. But nice political joke from the political science major there, King. Well played. Good game. Well played, sir. Well played. But yeah, okay. It's a shame. Like, gutting for the home fans. That yeah, it's just one of those things where unlucky for Max on that one yet again. Like 50% DNF rate is insane. Like, I don't think even Fernando's got that high a DNF rate. Jesus. Speaking of which, yes, he didn't finish his race either. That's right, Fernando Alonso. How did you guess? Another DNF from Fernando, which let me just quickly Wikipedia how many he's had this season. Quick, talk amongst yourselves.
Are we counting Indianapolis?
Are we counting?
Like, yeah,
I think we should
give a damn about him. But
I think we should, because we know that one was not self-imposed.
that was Fernando Alonso's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His 5th DNF this year. 6 if you want to include the DNS. He did not start at Russia. So again, he's also on 6 out of 12 races he has not finished this season. Although technically it's actually 6 out of 11 because he never took part in Monaco. So he's actually got a worse DNF rate than Max Verstappen does at 6 out of 11 compared to 6 out of 12. Yeah. The more you know. But yeah, Fernando, another DNF. And well, this is like the straw that broke the camel's back for me on this one, because it's like
this is the best part.
I saw a range of tweets when Alonso's getting getting curb stomped down the back of the kennel straight by people, because Alonso had one of his amazing starts where he was up to 7th place by the end of the opening lap, and then quickly he was dealt with the more powerful cars behind him, like Grosjean and Magnussen and whatnot in the Hasses, obviously in a much better Ferrari power unit. And then Fernando was like, no more idiot for the rest of the race. It was like, oh.
He tried to go for
one of those moves.
He tried to go for the Cody's move, but it didn't work out. Get the good start, try to keep everyone behind you. Didn't work.
It's like, so he gave him the full "not now, Jeff," basically. Oh dear. Not only did Alonso shut his radio off, he did bring it back later on in the Grand Prix. And again, I want to take credit for this one. I've got to give credit to the Formula One subreddit. Hey guys, still hate us? Hope you don't. But the Formula One subreddit came out with some interesting Alonso radio quotes after the race. I think it was about 5 laps or so to go, or something like that, where Alonso asked, "Is there rain coming?" And like McLaren said, "No, there's no rain on the radar." And then a minute later, he goes, "Engine problem." And then it was like, McLaren's like, "Okay, box to retire the car." And then Honda, about 2 hours later, said there was nothing wrong with the power unit.
Oh god, this is like
Honda was like, "Oh, they're not doing it." Like this is like revenge from Honda for all the times Alonso's ragged about their engines. It's like, no, we've had enough of this shit.
Yeah, do we not remember early in the season when he did the exact same thing? And before the race, he even called this shot, saying, "If I'm not in the points, I'm not going to finish the race."
This is
and
the
like
best.
we're all surprisingly okay with this. It's just like any other guy, we'd be curb stomping him right now for being unprofessional or for being a quitter. But because it's Fernando Alonso and because he's done such a brilliant job of digging himself into this hole, it's like we all just feel sorry for him. And I've had enough of it, King. Enough of this Fernando Alonso. Like, the man knows exactly what he's doing. Like, like
it's the best part about it.
It's like, almost like he's the John Cena of Formula One.
He is. It's like, I'm going to do everything in my power to play up to the crowd on every given. I'm going to sit on the Hungary Park Ferme with a deck chair, copying his own memes, which he fully embraced when he released his own mobile emoji app. He's gone into the crowd after Canada. He's gone into the grandstands to kiss up to them. All us fans are like, "Look at Alonso. Look at him. He's such a great guy. He's interacting with the fans. What a guy. Nando gets it." And shout out to Helena for milking that cow dry. But it's one of those things where it's like, I see through you, Fernando. I see
through you.
Like, I know your game. Like, I've had enough of your shit. For now. You'll be in like the shake crowd, but you'll actually just doing it to hide your command, score points. I'm going to fall and go home. I'm going to completely give an opportunity. You'll pass out the line. The this. Find it amazing that we have given Fernando such a leash for a gold championship in 11 years. A guy that has no career foresight, no political nous, overpays the crap out of his clearly shitty agent, and he wants to sit there and tell us that he's this innocent victim in all of this, when he's clearly walked through a minefield knowing what he was going to do, and then we applaud and feel sorry for him when his leg gets blown off. No, I'm tired of this, King. I'm tired of this shit.
You're tired. You're tired of Fernando having the political prowess of a puppy. Like, again, like he literally has Puppy doesn't know what to do, but everyone loves Puppy because Puppy's adorable.
That's exactly it.
They're good dogs, Dre. They're good dogs, Dre.
Yes, 4 out of 10 must ignore top seat again. No, I've had enough of this. The man's like, "Oh no, how do we get him out of Honda?" You turned down the Mercedes seat.
You chose to be.
You chose to be there. Why should we feel sorry for you?
Admittedly, you chose to be there after like burning down Ferrari and walking.
Like,
what can I say? You know, McLaren, Honda. You know, all the titles they've won. It was pretty much a guarantee that stuff would happen again. Yep.
Yeah. The team of the 1980s was definitely going to be the team of the 2010s. It was it was destined.
And once you paint the car orange, I mean, my God, that's just like guaranteeing like a minimum 8-peat.
8-peat, like.
I despair.
Come home to America, buddy.
I just like Alonso, please go to IndyCar or pretend to play this shitty political game with the fans. Like,
come to Alabama. Come see my home race. Come do it.
Like honestly, like I am fully on board. They just get Alonso into IndyCar wagon. Now I'm getting sick of this shit. Like. Because like he's got the fans on a fucking string at this point, and like they're balls deep in let's feel sorry for Fernando guy when he's backed himself into this corner and now all prowess sneaks out of it, and now we're all meant to applaud him like he's some sort of top driver, which he is. Undisputedly he is, but
yes. Puppy is definitely adorable. Like everyone's puppy. It's without a doubt. But he just keeps peeing on the rug.
It's he keeps humping the postman's leg. It's one of those things where it's just like it's like Steph Curry in the NBA, where it's like he was a superstar, but we were always like kind of afraid to really criticize Steph Curry when he choked away the finals in 2016. Because it was like, well, Steph Curry's adorable. Like we can't criticize him. It's the same.
It would mean we're spending less time criticizing LeBron James unfairly.
Yeah.
Or less time criticizing, the NBA's, regular season schedule, which, for some reason the Golden State Warriors felt like they had to, get the all-time wins record to, feel important. Then, none of the guys were rested.
67.5, Dre. Over or under?
Over.
Let's talk about Ferrari.
Side note, take the overall Golden State. They're actually better than last year, which is actually terrifying. Let's talk about Ferrari a little bit more. Like again, not a bad weekend really. Second and fourth for the Ferraris there. It's just about the past score for Ferrari this season, really. Get your fan fictions out. Get your ice cream memes at the ready. And talk about Frozen because Kimi Räikkönen is back for next season. Hey!
He sounds
that was mild.
Yeah. Hand it to Scuderia Ferrari for just being like, fuck you, young talent. Not yet.
I don't know. Part of me, like, I don't want to offend Dre here, but part of me is like, maybe Sebastian Vettel was afraid of even the possibility of having Charles Leclerc as a teammate.
Again.
Or Max Verstappen.
I will fly over there, King, and fight you on the other side of the street.
I'm not saying having the Ferrari's chosen son as your teammate.
How dare you make such accusations of cowardice? I will challenge you via trial by combat, King. No, but like Ferrari, like all I say in response to this is, "Hello, internet. Sorry, your silly season's in another castle."
It's in America.
Yeah, it's in America. More on that later, but not here, folks. Not here. Because it's looking like pretty much all the top six is going to get retained. I think Mercedes are waiting on the Valtteri Bottas extension, but I think that's imminent, so to speak. But Ferrari announced that both their guys are being re-signed. Raikkonen signed a new 1-year extension, and then a couple of days later, I think it was during Friday practice, just after Friday practice 2. Up through the grapevine that Sebastian Vettel had signed a new 3-year extension, keeping him with the team until the end of 2020. So, I guess, right? Kind of, sort of.
You gotta draft a build around long term. You got that security of having your lead driver there, and of course you have the very long-term security of the rolling 1-year deal for Kimi Räikkönen.
The Mark Webber extension. Just give him a bunch of 1-year contracts till the wheels fall off.
Nah, I think for some reason I feel like next year is gonna be the last year. Now that they have Vettel locked down for 3 years, they're like, Kimi's not gonna be around for 3 more years. We could just have 1 year.
Yeah, we said that. We said that last year and the year before that.
I was like, King. The very first Motorsport 101 highlight we ever made was based on the 2014 season, where we were having this exact same conversation about Raikkonen signing a 1-year extension.
Oh, God.
Do you think Kimi Räikkönen's still going to be? You think he's still going to be at Ferrari when he's 50?
RJ, I'll offer you 5.
He's going to be on.
Kimi Räikkönen is going to last at Ferrari longer than Sebastian Vettel. I'm calling my shot.
Yeah, Kimi's going to be on the Ferrari Formula E team until he's like 60.
Sorry, but we're not ready to debut our young 40-year-old Antonio Giovinazzi yet.
God.
But, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm beating the old drum here, but at least in my corner, I've said it before and I will say it again, like, I don't think there's anybody in that midfield that could really be a lock that is guaranteed to be better than Kimi, which is a shame because, you know, we as fans, we get excited over seeing young talent in top seats. We've been a bit spoilt for that in recent times with guys like Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, you know, Felipe Massa to a lesser degree back in 2006, I think it was. 5 or 6, not 100% sure on that one. I'm terrible with years. But anyway, like I said, like we've been a bit spoiled. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton, of course. I forgot about Lewis there. Jeez, that's a big one. How did I miss that? But yeah, like, we get the deal. We've been spoiled for young drivers getting these enormous opportunities pretty early on. But Kimi is still good-ish, you know. Sadly, I think a lot of this is down to philosophy for me, right? Like Mercs are okay with having 2 number 1 level drivers. Like we saw it with Nico Rosberg, like we'll pad any PR drama as long as they win every race, which is what they pretty much did. So like it didn't really matter, and like if they didn't get along because the car was good enough to win everything pretty much anyway. But Ferrari have always been the 1-2 punch, and you know Raikkonen is a solid number 2. They don't need to replace him because he's good at his role. And
I disagree on one thing where it didn't have to be Kimi as number 2. Like they could have gotten Antonio Giovinazzi in as number 2, but it was pretty clear in the press that Vettel was not going to sign an extension unless they had Kimi.
Yeah, I think the talk in the paddock was that Vettel was not going to re-sign unless Kimi was tied down first, which is interesting because I know he was also I think he was like apparently like there's 2 different stories coming out of the Mercs camp. Surprise, surprise. That you know, Toto Wolff said that, you know, no, we didn't talk to Seb at all. Niki Lauda was like, we did talk to Seb only briefly, because he was basically using this to get a new extension. He went full Sergio Ramos up in here. Like he basically just used Mercs to add a couple of extra million to that signing bonus. Basically,
makes sense.
But, you know, makes sense. Like he basically just used Mercs as leverage, basically. And I was like, yeah, we did try and sign him. Niki was like, yeah, we're trying to get Seb. And Toto was like, no, we didn't. What are you talking about? Once again, Toto Wolff and Niki Lauda are not on the same page.
Yeah, because I think like Lauda and Seb, they have a history because before Lauda went to Mercedes, Lauda was, you know, pretty much working for Red Bull because Red Bull being an Austrian team, he's, you know, one of their most notable Austrian drivers. So he has a relationship with Seb. So of course, maybe the topic conversation came up. Hey, you want to come over to Mercedes?
Yeah, and Seb was quickly like, nah, not really. I like it here. It's cushy and Maranello, but yeah, 3-year deal, happy stuff. Moscow's for everybody, and yeah, get your fan fiction out because the married couple of Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen will be around for at least 1 more year.
The King of Spa will return.
The King of Spa will return. Your silly season is in another castle, and let's have these big rumors about 2018 silly season next year. Like I basically call Kimi Räikkönen the Danny Pedrosa of Formula 1 at this point because this comes up every year. It's like, will this be the year they replace Danny Pedrosa? No. Every time Pedrosa's contract comes up, it's like, ooh, who could we get on that second Honda alongside Marc Marquez?
There's still plenty of time to fabricate a story that Mercedes aren't happy with Valtteri Bottas to just kind of stretch it out for just a couple weeks.
No, RJ, they've done nothing but blow smoke up his ass for the last 3 months about how he's a better team player than Rosberg was. The chemistry in the camp is better than it ever was before. This is clearly why
they want Max Verstappen. It's clearly why they want Max Verstappen.
Yes, they need a threat to push Lewis to the edge.
But King, the team chemistry is so important.
The team chemistry, because one guy doesn't win as much.
Exactly. Because Val was willing to give up his third place as long as Lewis gave it back. I mentioned this during Hungary, this was like the perfect golden goose for Mercs to put their nuts on the table to say, oh yeah, our chemistry's amazing. Ignoring the previous 4 years of history of terrible relations between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, ignorance of team orders, fallouts in the camp, threats of drivers getting cut, Nico Rosberg suddenly retiring, and I'm 110% sure that the chemistry of Lewis was part of the problem that caused his early retirement. But let's not talk about that. Yay, teamwork!
For some reason, I just picture Lewis Hamilton just walking into any just debrief Monday morning, pour a champagne into his driver's championship trophy, just swings it down, smashes it on the table, and just says, "I'm the champ that runs this camp."
I would approve of this. I would do that all the time. If I was an F1 driver, that would be me.
I just want 10% of Nico Rosberg's wardrobe, let alone the driver's challenge trophy that he's got at home. That'd be a bonus for me. But
if I was a paid driver that nobody liked, I would just be throwing $100 bills everywhere in the press room on Thursday.
You're like, oh, you didn't like me when I got signed, but you're gonna like me by the time the season's over.
It's like Vic in the chat just goes, so when's Val and Lewis's wedding then? Sometime in December when Lewis wins his 4th championship. Apparently, I've been invited as maid of honor. It's going to be great.
Wonderful.
I'm just going to super kick Lewis Hamilton down the stairs when it's all said and done, just because I can.
Then the internet's just going to be shocked when Val is like, "I don't actually like Lewis. I'm only doing this so I can get a nice car."
Yeah, the Mercedes.
Want to get on his insurance?
I want to get his insurance.
Oh dear, that's some fun stuff right there. Let's talk a little bit about Formula 2.
Woo! Hey!
Formula 2, the NXT of Grand Prix racing.
The not quite what it's used to be, because there's one really good person in there.
Oh my god.
Shout out to Asuka, close brackets. But everybody else is just oh, okay. Just a bunch of dudes in here. It's one guy and a bunch of dudes. But King, my boy, my number one pick.
Number one, not only your number one pick got disqualified, the guy that you paid so much money for not to even start has the crash of a lifetime.
We have to talk about this. Charles Leclerc absolutely obliterated the Formula 2 field. There is such a thing as a super beat him down, as Charles Leclerc was pretty much a second a lap faster than everybody else in Formula 2's feature race around Spa over Oliver Rowland and Artem Markelov, that on the road finished second and third respectively. But that was an unbelievable performance from Charles Leclerc. He keeps finding new ways to just impress and wow the racing world.
He gets better as the cars he drives get faster. He went from being pretty good in Formula Renault Euro Cup and Formula 3 to being a champion his first year in GP3 to, oh my God, he's going to break every Formula 2 record.
Yeah. He's too scary fast.
He is stupid quick. Is the word I used to describe him, because again, like I said, he was basically a second lap quicker. That is just insane. And like again, Oliver Rowland is not a scrub. He is a very good driver by every measure. Probably should be in Formula One next year, but most likely won't. But you know, that's like him and Markelov. Him and Markelov are not idiots. They are great drivers. They were very fast in their own right, and he's completely curb stomped them. It was just insane until he got disqualified.
Yes.
I was like, oh.
Both Leclerc and Oliver Rowland got disqualified for the same reason. Their skids were worn out too much, so when they get measured, it was below the limit. Both of them tossed out.
See, kids, this is why you don't jack up the ride height when you set your car up in video games. That can happen.
You never know when post-race scrutineering might come and bite you in the arse. That's one for F1 2018 right there, clearly. But yes, like I found this out like 11:30 at night when I came in from work on Saturday, and I literally screamed out, "God fucking damn it!" And that was literally my words. I just read the tweet and I was just distraught at the news, because for those guys that haven't seen the Centennial Cup, my number one pick was Charles Leclerc, and my strategy going in was get Charles Leclerc at all costs. I would not lose that auction no matter how much of my budget I was going to pay. Rule number one: get Charles Leclerc at any means necessary.
Yeah, that turned out to be a bargain over the next few rounds.
Yeah.
Because then we went,
I get the points for it.
We went hog wild.
Listen to that episode if you haven't seen the Cup already. It's a great time. But it wasn't an unmitigated disaster.
Podiums for Luca Giano. What can I say?
Shut up, RJ. Shut up. Just shut up, all right? Like, listen, it wasn't an unmitigated disaster because Artem Markelov was inherited with the win, so it wasn't a complete disaster. We got good points. It's just...
You had a card that scored the minimum amount.
Sigh. Yeah, so that was fun. And who won the sprint race again, King? I think it was a first-time winner and a free agent.
Yes, a free agent. The boy from Brazil, Sergio Sete Camera.
Do.
Yeah. Just because of course, right?
Yeah, he didn't score a point going into the second half of the season. He came away with 6 in the feature and a win in the sprint.
And who picked him up in the draft for no money at all?
Nobody picked him up.
Oh, damn.
That's
He was like, I bet he was just listening to that episode on repeat. They didn't pick me. They didn't pick me.
You know it's bad when Sean Galea was getting picked ahead of you. I'm sorry. That's future Scuderia Toro Rosso test driver stuff, Sean Galea.
Money back.
Do you see Buxton's tweet?
What did he say? I missed it.
Oh, I need to find this. Because it was the way he punctuated it, everything with currency.
Oh, God, no.
Yes.
Extremely Will Buxton.
Oh, God. It was peak Buxton. But yeah, continue. I'll find it.
Yeah, it's just... So a free agent stole the glory in the sprint race. Charles Leclerc gets DQ'd, and I end up raging through my bedroom window so half the street can hear me. It was a good weekend. It really was.
And this was before Nobuharu Matsushita just completely wiped out at Eau Rouge. Glad to hear that he's all right, because Jesus, that was bad.
It was a bad one. It wasn't as a damage to my broken heart, but as I paid $775 for him, what a bastard! But
not like you're going to score any points with him anyway.
Shut up, King! I'm not here for your logic right now, okay? Let me grieve in peace. Oh, jeez, it wasn't pretty, to say the least. King, have you found that tweet yet?
No, I haven't. It is.
I can only pass the time so long. We're professionals here.
Let's continue. We'll find it later. Like,
Lewis, cut this out.
Buxton tweets more than I thought he would.
I mean, same.
Oh, I think he deleted it.
To be fair, I've tweeted like over 250,000 times, so I can't talk in this department. I have you guys beat. Top trumps, motherfucker. But while King searches up some creative tweets, we'll move some stuff into the news section, we'll take a quick breather, and we'll come back to talk about IndyCar and the Gateway 500.
I'm going to go top up my drink while we do this intermission. It'll take me just a minute.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he deleted it. Sad.
I can't possibly imagine why.
When you pretty much call out someone for being a paid driver, well, being like the only reason he got a test session at Toro Rosso because he paid for it.
You don't say. Oh dear. I'm gonna take a quick selfie on Snapchat.
Yep, it's deleted. I'm already back to next week. Yep. Oh, nope. Thank you, Josette, for tweeting that, for sending that over to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll post it in our little chat, but oh my god, this like the spice. It's like, damn, Buxton.
Put this in the chat. Put this. Oh, okay.
I'm going to start this segment now. Good news, guys. Before we get into the Gateway 500, turns out King did find that tweet in the end. As I click the link on it right now, and it's like, he tweets at Joey of the Prius. I think he has serious potential, and every S and E has been replaced with the euro sign and a dollar sign. I just, oh boy, like Buxton, that's naughty.
Okay, now I do want to just say that this is missing some rubles, whatever the Russian currency is. I think it could have squeezed that in.
Are we criticizing Buxton for lack of creativity here?
Yeah, there's missed opportunities.
Good man.
Yeah, we call them opportunities, not shortcomings.
Yes, we'll go with that. We're nice like that. Right, go on, RJ. Get your humble brag out of the way.
St. Louis. Hey, so in related news to recent sporting events, a Nashville native went into St. Louis and completely obliterated the field, surprising nobody.
Ooh, shades of the spring. Shades of the spring.
Oh, happier times. Let's talk about this Gateway 500. It was a trip. That front grandstand was packed. They put like 40,000 people in. I don't know how many of those were like comp tickets, but dog.
That's place.
At a first-time venue that hasn't seen a race in 15 years, that didn't really have much of a reputation for being a great racetrack.
Yeah, because I know, Cup and then Nationwide, like they dumped Gateway a while back, and it wasn't expected that they'd see big-time racing again.
Right, and
yes, this could have easily become like Mitt's development property, which will probably happen to the Milwaukee Miles sooner rather than later.
Oh no!
Because I know,
because I know the Syracuse Mile, which is our Mile State Fairgrounds track in New York, that's gone now. Like that's been demolished.
Is it
LA just turned theirs into a football station for two mediocre teams.
Yeah, delightful. Who's excited for some football? Anyway, yeah, it's like I have to say, like the atmosphere around Gateway was fantastic. I mean, you could tell all the drivers were feeding off of it. Like you could see that, oh god, they got 40,000 people in here. Fontana, it is not. Oh my god.
Well, one thing that I was disappointed about, small little thing. It's like, I thought it was like, it's 500 miles. I'll have enough time to get home from work before it's over. I was wrong. It is not the race was not 500 miles. It was 500 kilometers.
Oh, they went metric. No,
they went metric so they could have 500 in the title. Besides that little issue, I don't really care.
It's those big 10. It's those Big Ten fans from the Midwest. They're smarts and they're academics.
No, this is St. Louis. This is Mizzou land. This is the SEC territory.
Meanwhile,
sounds fake, but okay.
Sounds fake.
The other St. Louis guy, Joseph Goddamn Newgarden, has won another one. Yeah, you can't see it, but RJ is currently fist bumping as we speak because it's like, oh no, like Joseph's actually in control of the championship now.
You know what? I'll honestly, I was actually covering something that we'll talk about later on in this episode. I just had to check back on it every now and then because I had it on the TV in the background, and all of a sudden I look over like, just one? Hell yeah! Shit, it's late.
Ooh, man.
And
man, that was a lot of people had fears because it's 1.5 miles, but technically it's a short track, and people were nervous that the racing was not going to be good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly got off to the most interesting starts.
Or
willpower
starts.
Willpower
hold up.
pretty much kicked.
No, before that.
Hold up, because
it's like
we're not going to talk about Tony Kanaan just losing it on the warm-up lap.
That's a new one. Yeah, losing it on the warm-up lap, had to go in. I think, like, having to get in and have the car fixed up immediately. Apparently, Chip was seething with rage at this. So that was fun. And then when the race actually got started on the opening lap, like, willpower pretty much spins out on some. Apparently, the word on the street is there was firework residue on the circuit in the early goings of the race.
Yes.
Which caused Power to spin out and then caused Ed Carpenter to play a very creative game of piggyback in the rear side wall. Yeah, scary one, this. Like, even Jack Nichols, who was watching the clip, who is the stout, like, un-Halo guy, was like, okay, please tell me why we shouldn't have a Halo, after showing that incident where basically Carpenter is right in the front of Power's car and is very lucky not to be basically, like, have his rear wing in his face.
Almost gave Willpower the worst rear view of all time.
Oh, man. It was an awful accident. It was the Power spins out, Carpenter gets caught, Sato gets collected, and that was pretty much right off the start of the race there. I think it was 5 laps or so in. So, Power, Carpenter, and Sato were the 3 early casualties. Some good dicing in the midfield early on. But, Newgarden, I got told in the box score that his average position over the course of the race was 1.4.
1.4? Oh, my God. Okay.
So, in other words, he wasn't not in first place for very long. It was a 248-lap race. Newgarden led 170 of those laps. He almost went full Ira up in here until the end, where Dixon was slowly reeling him in towards the end of the race. But, King, a critical second place for Scott Dixon in the grand scheme of things, given the championship lead is just starting to drift away from him a little bit now, and a very critical.
There's 150 points left on the table, so he needs to be as close as possible. So in Sonoma, he has, a legit shot of not having to win the race to win the championship.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice position to be in now. Newgarden with a 31-point lead now on Scott Dixon. More on that in a minute, but a critical second for Scott Dixon, who's not had the best run of form lately, but a critical second, just narrowly beating Simon Pagenaud for third, who, wasn't best pleased with how Newgarden took that lead position off him. If you haven't seen it, go out of your way to find the clip on IndyCar's Twitter and social media.
It's a breathtaking maneuver.
Yeah, just like if you don't find it when the race replay goes up, just go 32 laps ago and just watch the race from there. Yeah,
pretty much. And the best advice, probably look for the Firestone winning move video. Might be a better place to go, actually, because they the top 3 passes of the race pretty much on their YouTube channel. You'll most likely find it there. But it is a stunning pass into turn 1 where he just jams it down the inside of the oval, pretty much boxing Pagenaud out. And it's an incredible, it is one of the passes of the year. And for me, I think it could be one of those title deciding flashpoints right there and then. I mean, we saw it last year when Pagenaud went round the outside of Will Power at Mid-Ohio, and I thought, okay, like that is a gangster pass from Simon Pagenaud. And like Will Power, he just held his hands up like, well, there was nothing I could do about that. It was just, a brilliant pass, and he was the first guy to congratulate Simon when he won the race that day with 2 cracked ribs. It was worth pointing out as well. Or the year before when. Do you remember, King, when Montoya took out Will Power during the final round at Sonoma when they were trying to climb through the field? And then Montoya pretty much ended both his and Will Power's pretty good chances of winning the title right there and then. So we get these little title-deciding flashpoints like throughout a year, and I think that might be the one for Joseph Newgarden. And that was the first time I looked at Newgarden, and I thought, oh boy. Like, okay, he really is title favorite now. Like, holy shit. Like, that was an astonishing pass from Newgarden. And I said it on Twitter, like, that was a 0 or hero pass. Like, if he gets that wrong, they're both in the wall, and we're having a very different conversation.
As Simon Pagenaud pointed out in the post-race interview on NBC, where he said, we're pretty much, he's responding to Joseph saying that there was space for a pass there. And, well, we'll get into that later, but he basically says, yeah, there was space there. But if that was anyone else, we'd both be in the French right now.
So is Simon basically saying that he went easy on him because he's his teammate?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, boy.
Like, pretty much if he said if anyone else tried that, they both would have been in the fence, and that is not good.
Yeah, like, Simon did not take this one well. Said straight up, I've lost a level of respect for Joseph, which is a shame, because they've, like, if anyone's watched their social media over the year, like, those two have been very close with each other. Like, a lot of cool Pagenaud and Newgarden related pictures and social media and all that fun stuff.
Bruh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah,
just like
they'll be fine.
It's like they'll have it out over some like 3 a.m. IHOP somewhere.
Most likely. I'm gonna try and find the video in question because somebody made a really, really funny video about that. Like playing some of the highlights of those two together with like the sound of silence playing in the background. It's
the kind of stuff that happens when you're fighting for a championship. Like, yeah, you're gonna get heated, especially after something like that. I think they both know deep down what the stakes are here.
Indeed, and again, I just want to find it because I want to give the guy full credit. Give me a second here. I will try to find it. God damn it. I'm trying to find it through Sarah's Twitter, and I can't quite get there. Give me a sec.
Elio Castroneves is still eligible.
Like, click the Penske games. Ooh. God damn it! Oh, here it is. It's Jim Aleo. That's the one. So shout out to Jim for that one. It is a hilarious video. It is exactly as funny as you might think it is. It's a gem. Go out of your way to see it. Yeah, nice one. She sent us a DM on Twitter finding that as well. So thanks, Nolan. Much appreciated. But it's friggin' hilarious stuff. But yeah, like that might be a bit frosty. And I love that like IndyCar put up an article saying, oh, is there trouble in paradise for T. Penske? Very quietly, Penske has now won the last 5 races in a row, which they themselves, I don't think, have done since 2012, I think it is.
Yeah, actually, no. The last team to do this was Newman Haas in Champ Car. Like,
Jesus!
Yeah.
Like, was that 2007 then?
Yeah, 2007.
Wow. So the first time in 10 years a team has won 5 straight in IndyCar. I know it kind of helps when you've got 4 cars and you've got bloody Will Power, Simon Pagenaud, Even Helios chips into the cause on this one, which he never does. Helio could never win. That's the rules. But Helio has won now too. And now Newgarden's adding to that streak. So Penske has now won 5 straight as a result of this now, even if maybe Simon Pagenaud isn't going to have Joseph at his Christmas dinner anymore with Haley and Norman.
Okay, yeah. Last time, Newman Haas, 2005.
Oh, Jesus. It's even worse. 12
that
years
was, it was Bourdais' second championship season.
Oh, like, is this, what a surprise. It's peak Bourdais.
Seb is back, y'all.
Oh, yes. Seb, Super John Cena his way back.
Yeah, Sebastian Bourdais was back and a top 10 finish while leading 5 laps. What a hero. Sebastian Bourdais back in IndyCar, basically 2 rounds early. He was aiming to get back for Sonoma for the season finale. He came back 2 rounds before that at Gateway. What a guy.
He came back from a broken damn hip.
And a pelvis. And a pelvis.
Like, how did he even pee properly? That must just be just the worst thing. Like, that sounds like the injury that's like, it's like, in functional terms, it sounds even worse than what it actually is. Like, oh, God, just, like, a hip is terrible. Like, a pelvis sounds terrible. Like, it's just, oh. But that was like a 100G, 230 mile an hour wall smash, and he's come back in basically 3 months. What a legend.
Like if he had that crash in 1987 and not 2017, he would not be alive.
Yeah, dead man walking. And I don't say that as a joke, he just is at that point. Like, holy shit. Just a brilliant job there from Joe. Some Seb to look, not only just to come back, but to get in the top 10. That is a phenomenal job from Seb. Well done from him. King, drama at CGR. Turns out Chip's been benching his dudes, kinda.
Yeah. There's this drama all places. First, let's get to the race part where there was drama between Charlie Kimball and one AJ Foyt's Connor Daly.
What was Kimball doing? Like, oh my God. Kimball was like trying to burn one of his bridges for a potential seat in case his sponsor drops in from Chip this year. Like, Foyt is clearly off the table. Like they, I think it was Matt Arlecka that showed clips of like the gifs of what he was doing to the Foyt guys, and like they cut to a picture of a gif of AJ Foyt just slamming his fist against the desk. Like, I'm going to fight this man.
Yeah, because with Super Text, like, yeah, his fist may be going against the desk now, but that could be your face later.
As we know in the history of AJ Foyt, he has got no problem throwing them hands. He might have done so if it wasn't for some restraint and maybe Connor Daly actually finishing in the top 5. What a job from him, by the way.
I'm sorry, what? Connor Daly is 5th?
Yes.
An oval? Like, on an oval, and he wasn't off strategy either. What? Okay, we'll go with that. But yeah, I don't know what. Like, King, it's official. Like Danny Brennan has put this through as a legislation. He no longer wants us to nickname Charlie Kimball slightly above average Kimball. He now wants us to nickname him Stateless Kimball after an appeal from the Connor Daly fan club. What do you say to this proposal?
Yeah, because he's stateless and soon to be teamless.
Like, I bang my gavel. I therefore approve this nickname change. Charlie Kimball will now be known as Stateless Kimball. Congratulations, Brendan. You lucky man. I don't know, Kimball, what were you doing, you pillock? Like, he almost ran Daly completely off the road. Block shunting him. Like, I just, awful stuff from Kimball. I don't know.
And our other boy at Foyt, Carlos Munoz, he finished 9th.
Munoz! Yay! Munoz!
And quickly back to Ganassi. Things are not looking so solid on the 2018 driver lineup. Only safe seat at the moment is Scott Dixon, obviously. And the team is pretty much focused around Scott Dixon. So they want Kimball back, but it's unsure if he'll have sponsorship to run next year. Right. And it's looking like both Tony Kanaan and Max Chilton will be leaving the team.
Yeah, it's looking that way. Boy, we'll interlace this beautifully into our IndyCar season segment in a minute. But yeah, like I think they tried to press Canal for questions about this, and then he just said, "Go ask Chip," while driving off in a hurry, which kind of said it all, really. It's like Canal looked done in that town. He's now super done in this town, by the sounds of it. Like, apparently, according to Tony himself, he is now officially a free agent as of, like, Pocono. So, like, Canon's now actively looking for a job, basically. And Chip very cryptically said on Twitter, "We only park a car if we feel like there is no chance of improving position."
Oh, dear.
Which is funny because Canan himself, didn't he finish second in Texas after coming back from 2 laps down?
Yeah.
And being persona non grata after pretty much taking out a quarter of the field.
Yeah, causing about $3 million worth of IndyCar car damage. Yeah, he kept Canan going, and look what happened. Podium finish at Texas from 2 laps down. Yeah. So
And
Chip, not sure I'm buying that one.
And in the other Ganassi camp, we did hear that team radio outburst from Max Chilton about him getting parked.
Yeah, was it like, "I'm not a quitter," basically?
Yeah, it's like he wanted to continue on so he could learn, get more experience. He's like, I want to learn, I want to keep going. It's like, we're not quitters.
Yeah, apparently a lot of the crew of the number 8 car was very upset with that as well. Apparently, a lot of them were not happy that they were basically told to end their race early on Chip's orders. So it's looking like Canan and Chilton could be out, and Kimball could be out too if the sponsorship doesn't come through. So because Kimball's been one of the worst full timers this season, unfortunately. No matter which way, he's 17th in the championship right now. The only full timers that are worse off than him right now are Michaela Lotion, who's no longer in the series, Connor Daly, who we know has been miserably unlucky this season, and that's about it. Outside of Sebastian Bourdais, who obviously missed significant time, and Spencer Pigot, who doesn't do ovals really. So you can make the case that Kimball is the worst of the full time runners right now, which is not good.
Yeah.
But quick rundown of the results from Gateway before we get into silly season stuff. Joseph Newgarden, Tennessee stand-up, wins the race from Scott Dixon and Simon Pagenaud on the podium. Spider-Man in 4th with RJ.
Connor Daly is 5th!
Connor Daly is...
You missed the great hair reference for Helio, but I will settle for that. That is a good runner-up prize. Alex Rossi refuses to go away. In 6th place, another great drive from him. Charlie Kimball in 7th, who is now known as Stateless Kimball, in 7th place. The Mayor of Hinchtown of a solid 8th place for Schmidt Peterson, ahead of Carlos Munoz. Well done to Seb Bourdais on the way back in 10th place. Good result for Sebastian Saavedra in the 7th car as well. 11th place from him, ahead of Graham Rahal. Ed Jones in 13th, Marco Andretti 14th, Hunter Ray in 15th, then Canan, Chilton, Hildebrand, and the aforementioned triple spin out of Sato, Power, and Carpenter to bring up the rear of the field. In the championship, as we mentioned, Joseph Newgarden now with a 31-point lead over Scott Dixon. But Dixon has the ace in the hole. It's Watkins Glen this weekend. That should be fun. Helio Castroneves still hanging on in there in 3rd, 42 points off the top. 1 point ahead of Simon Pagenaud in 4th place. Will Power now probably out of the running. He's 83 points back now in 5th place. That might be the end of the line.
He needs to win. Damn.
Yeah, which is amazing. He's had 3 wins and 6 pole positions, and he's like almost 100 points off the top of the title race right now. Kind of nuts. It's kind of crazy to consider that. Ray Hall in 6th on 436, ahead of Alex Rossi with 422, who's now leapfrog Takuma Sato, who's now on 410. More on him in a second. Canan in 9th, 365. It's almost like Canan's still pretty good or something. Yet jobless. And James Hinchcliffe in 10th on 351. Speaking of which, some silly season stuff, King. And we have arguably the first domino has fallen as Takuma Sato is out of Andretti.
Oh,
yes, now Sato is moving.
So Sato is moving to a new team, and
But it's
what
not
I mean,
really a new team. It's not really a new team in the grand scheme of things. It's a familiar setting for Takuma.
It's familiar but new, as in there will be a new car in the field completely, because Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan is expanding to have a full-time second car next year. So Graham, for the first time in his career, will have a full-time teammate.
Praise be. Graham Rahal can finally stop complaining he doesn't have enough help to win a title. Although I know me and Zoe had a chat about this morning, and we both reckon the same thing. That are we sure this is a good idea? Because, like, Sato doesn't seem like the sort of guy that's going to sit down with Graham and like help him out on how to win a championship. I feel like Sato is in this for Takuma Sato, especially given he's going to be going into next season as the reigning 500 winner. Gonna work, to be honest with you, King and RJ. I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, like apparently the reason Sato decided to make this move was he needed to be with the Honda team next year, and he didn't want to wait on Michael Andretti to make a decision on whether he was running Honda or not. So he decided to just move first to a team that was already going to be running Honda engines next year.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much he would have stayed if, Andretti decided to make a decision earlier, because he didn't want to be left out in the dry unless they, switch to Chevy. Next thing you know, he has to last second look for a place to ride, or have no ride next year.
Yeah, basically he didn't want to take any chances. And to be fair, Michael Andretti has never stood in the way of drivers wanting to get better deals elsewhere. So, it's weird. The timing of this is kind of weird, right? Because this news dropped, I think, on the Friday or the Saturday, the night that Sato had jumped ship to RLL, and within 48 hours of the race finishing, Marshall Pruitt puts out a report saying that it looks like Andretti's going to stay with Honda. So it's did Sato jump the gun a bit too early here? You might have done, but
don't say it. Don't say it.
Was it a case of? I'm not going to say it. It's okay. It's okay.
It's implied.
Breathe. Okay, but yeah, it looks like Sato may have jumped the gun, but it's there's an open seat at Andretti now, King.
Yes.
Could it be for Fernando? Could it be Fernando? Could it? Fernando full time? It's not going away, King. It's not going away.
It would probably be Colton Herta, even though the leanings right now is Colton's not going to win the championship, so there's no point in moving him up. So
congratulations, Kyle Kaiser. You effectively clinched it. All you have to do is start at the Glen. Congratulations.
Yeah. So looks like Colton's going to be in lights for another year. They could always bring back a certain guy that they had on as a 500 only at Andretti, Jack Harvey. Yeah. And besides that, it's maybe bring Carlos Munoz back, which is probably what I think is going to happen. I'd really like that to happen.
Yeah. I'd like Munoz back in that wing. He's great for that, and I think he did good things with an Andretti. Obviously, again, maybe your best shot at the 500 race winner as well. Yeah, that'd be great. Imagine something like Munoz goes to Andretti, and then maybe Canard slots in at AJ Foyt alongside Conor Daly and brings Daly up a little bit. That would be pretty neat because they get along very well, those two.
Yeah.
So that could work. Something like that maybe, but with that on the table,
but RJ did bring up something that's interesting, because the Indy Lights champion always gets, I believe, a 3-race deal in IndyCar, which is 2 races plus the 500.
Yes, you are guaranteed at least 3 races. Kyle Kaiser is guaranteed at least 3 races, and he's close to a deal.
Yeah. We don't know where, but he's close to a deal.
Yep, there is definitely something in that.
Yep. And Sandy Urrutia is also close to a deal. He's second in the championship after winning the lights race at Gateway. Who are they going to end up with?
Stand up.
Well, Kaiser, he's a Juncos driver, so he could always be with Juncos in IndyCar. But
in their first full season, yeah, that does make a whole hell of a lot of sense. If they don't give it to Spencer Pigot,
yeah, like it's hard for Spencer Pigot to compete with guaranteed funding from the series itself.
Yeah, that's hard, and yeah, that's going to be a problem. And like, it's like who's going to get given the heave-ho to bring in all these Indy Lights guys? That's going to be the problem, because it's like you've got a lot of established names that these teams have got right now. Who's going to make way for who? Like, is the series going to flip them an extra car, or like are they going to have to get rid of somebody good? Like, you know.
Well, apparently, Chip Ganassi they're just on their way to doing that right now.
We're clearing the decks. Scott Dixon is good. The rest of you GTFO. We're starting over. Only Dixon remains. There is only one Scott Dixon. Geez, that could be all sorts of fun. Like, again, I've got a good shout on Felix maybe getting one of those empty seats, because Felix is God and driver for hire. Driver for hire, Felix, everybody. We need driver for hire.
Get the Sunoco Team Le Mans driver into a Sunoco sponsored car and win the Sunoco Rookie of the Year award.
Yes, sir. It's an extremely on-brand signing, I must say.
But yeah, rumor is that Ganassi might actually cut a car next year, so they'd have Dixon and 2 teammates, maybe 3, but like the third car is like that. The fourth car is dependent on funding. Andretti, they have that open fourth seat. Letterman, Ray Hall Lanigan, we know what's going on there. Smith Peterson, they're always open for a third car if there's funding available for a third car. Plus, they don't even know who's going to be in the second car next year.
Or the first one, because again, Hinchcliffe's a free agent at the end of the season.
Being realistic, Hinchcliffe is staying.
Yeah, he's probably staying because he's in a good spot. He likes being a team runner. Yeah, and again, like he's got a lot of very good sponsors that like him there at SPM, so he's probably not going anywhere. But the funny thing is that the one that's least sure about this is James himself. Like he's always said, like, if the contract's all right, sure, but it's like he knows his value. He's the number 1 free agent on the board, was what people are saying, pretty much. So
yeah,
that could be fun.
Yeah, he's the number 1 on the board now, because I know Rossi was highly sought after, but it seemed like he's staying at it with Andretti. Like, unless there's something Chip could really do to entice Hinch to be Dixon's number 2, it's not going to happen.
No, and Rossi would think I can take Dixon if it really came down to it anyway, because Rossi's now becoming as good an all-rounder as anyone in the series. Like he's just doing well everywhere. He's picked up the ovals like that. He is now probably a top 7 or 8 guy in the entire field. There's not many guys I would take over Alex Rossi, especially if I was building a team from scratch now. I might take Rossi top 3 or 4 overall, outside of maybe Newgarden or somebody like that who is a proven guy.
Yeah, and the thing is, Rossi's still crazy young for an IndyCar guy. He's 25. He has a good 15 years left.
Yeah, it's like him and Newgarden are still babies in terms of IndyCar right now. It's in the 26 and 25 respectively, and it's just like.
But he's clearly not dedicated. He's clearly not dedicated.
No, he's not loyal to the series. He's just using it to get back into F1. You know.
He's going to be back at Manor any day now.
Of course. He'll be so gutted when he finds out Manor doesn't exist anymore. But, yeah, read into that what you will. But, it's one of those things. The city season, we'll keep our tabs on it as always, and we'll let you know if anything comes up. Before we move on to the news, though, we have to say a salute to Mr. Ryan King, who last week got to sit down and spend a good 15 minutes or so with Schmidt Peterson's latest stand-in for the last 2 rounds of the season. So here is a nice little sit-down of Ryan King and Jack Harvey. This is the part where the interview goes in.
Yeah. Sorry for you people watching live.
Put that interview in, Lewis. Put it inside of me.
Yeah. Sorry about you live, guys, but, you know, it's a reason to go back and listen to the polished version. You know?
Yeah.
It's fancy stuff. But, right.
Consume our content. Yo, we need to get like an Audible sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
Indeed. Get one free audiobook. Use the code Motorsport101 to get it. But,
plus, if you sign up for the Dollar Shave Club, for $15 value of the Executive Razor and Dr. Carver's Shave Butter for just $5 a month when you enter the promo code Motorsport101.
Yeah, they have a reason to sponsor us. Like 2 out of the 3 of us are not clean shaven right now.
Yeah, it grows back as fast as I can shave it.
Not because I like the appearance of having stubble. It's because I'm lazy.
Definitely that. Right, let's get into the news, shall we? So yeah, special thanks to Jack Harvey for being so gracious with his time, and I want to say a big thanks to Veronica at SPM for running their media department, who was so patient with me getting that interview set up. She did the Lord's work, so big thanks to Veronica over there at SPM as well. If you ever get time to get James free, you know.
Yeah, he has his own podcast. I think it's like an exclusivity deal. You know, like how the WWE is like, if you're gonna wrestle, you can only wrestle for us. And I think Hinch is like, I only do my own shows.
It's like, listen, we can swap. I'll go on his show. He can come on ours, right? The audience is ready for that, right? You know.
Oh God.
Nah, whatever. Don't look at me like that. So let's get into the news. And RJ, you want to talk about the Suzuka 1000 kilometer this past weekend, right?
Yes, it happened this past weekend. Jensen Button was in it. And now I'm going to play a fun game for y'all. I'm going to break down a sequence of events that happened in Jensen Button's very first Super GT race with Team Mugen and co-drivers former IndyCar Series Rookie of the Year Hideki Muto and second-generation driver Daisuke Nakajima. Tell me if this sounds on brand with everything that has transpired in Jensen Button's career over the last few full seasons that he has had with McLaren Honda. Okay, starting off with the obvious, he has a mid-engined Honda engine that for much of 2015 and 16 has struggled for pace compared to their rivals.
Yeah,
that's both. That's both.
Okay.
That's a yes right there.
Right. So he missed out on Q1, missed out from advancing out of Q1 by just less than 1/10 of a second to a former GP3 race winner.
That is happened in F1, and I assume it happened in Super GT.
Yes, King's losing it already.
Yeah, he qualified 9th.
About par for McLaren these days, right?
Right. Okay, so we move on to the race itself, which starts for Jensen Button effectively on lap 25.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a drive-through penalty for for an unsafe release out of the pits on his very first stint in the car.
Jesus.
So he gets in the car and gets a penalty.
In his very first competitive stint. Then later in the race, he gets another penalty for overtaking under yellows.
Oh, Jensen. Come on, man.
And he finishes 2 laps out of the points.
But let's bring this around. In IndyCar, is it similar to what happened to Alonso, where Button didn't win, but another Honda did win?
Yes, indeed it was. And we got something of a really neat result out of it. So Nakajima Racing, Satoru Nakajima's team, they formerly of the Mobil 1 NSX and Epson NSX years gone by, won the race. It was their first win in a span of 73 races, or in terms of time, it was 9 years, 9 months, and 27 days since the last time they won a race in GT 500 with an all IndyCar alumnus lineup of Bertrand Baguette, the bread man,
Bread winner.
And Kosuke Matsura, once upon a time, former Fernandez Racing driver and IndyCar Series Rookie of the Year. And they did this in a race where they probably shouldn't have won on paper because they're the only team on Dunlop tires, and they only seem to do well when it rains a lot. So when you figure this race is going to be dry and sunny all the time, you're thinking, right, they have no chance. Yes, they have about 6 kilograms of success ballast, which is nothing, but even still, you wouldn't give them a chance to hold up in the long run over the course of the race. And to their credit, they did. They set that car up perfectly. Bertrand Baguette and Kosuke Matsura just drove the damn wheels off the thing, and it was a really, really just a very popular win for that team, especially since it's at a Honda-owned track that a Honda wins the race. Not just the biggest race in the calendar, but the final running of the biggest race in the calendar as we know it today. 2 Hondas get on the podium, in fact, and Nissan Motorsport finish in second to take the championship lead in a race that pays out extra points. Golly, you've got a feel for one of the other Honda teams, the Keihin Real Racing NSX GT, which pretty much curb stopped the field for the first half of the race, only to blow a tire with 25 laps to go and crash out.
Oh, damn.
Yes. Yeah. If you would like to go watch this race back on YouTube on Nismo TV, oh boy. So strange things happen during this race. Some of you who have seen these races before might know that Nismo TV, when they do their broadcast, they get their pictures from what's basically an internet feed coming from Japan to their studio in London where they broadcast the race. The commentary worked fine. The video from the stream itself worked fine, except the pictures they were getting. Could you just imagine like having it constantly freeze and buffer and freeze and buffer on a continuous loop?
Oh,
not only for like the last 30 straight laps of the race.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, fair play to commentators Sam Collins, who I was lucky enough to have the chance to interview for Super GT World. If you want to go and read it, check it out on supergtworld.wordpress.com. Yes. Sam is a very good interview. He and co-commentator Rob Barf did about as well as a job they could covering in a situation where I think I probably would have just thrown a chair.
Yeah. That is worse than the sketchy F1 feeds.
Yeah, especially considering the audience that they were going to have was probably going to be the biggest because of when Jenson Button and I'm sure Kamui Kobayashi, who finished 4th, by the way, as the best of the Lexus, along with his co-drivers, Yuhi Sekiguchi and Yuji Konomoto, they did really well. So they were going to get a big audience for this race, especially considering the magnitude of this event and who was driving in it. And the stream just poops the bed. Not great. So apart from that, if you want to go and see if you can find like a Japanese broadcast of the entire 6-hour race, definitely go and watch it. It has a lot of drama. It has a lot of intrigue. The GT300 winners pulled an absolute blinder when they pitted on the very first lap of the race and effectively ran a 4-stop strategy afterwards when everybody else had to do 5 stops. That was insane.
Wow, really?
Yeah. That was basically their way of doing a 4-stop strategy in a race where you had to serve a minimum 5 pit stops. You pit on the opening lap, and then you just go as long and as hard as you can for the next 5 legs of the race.
Jesus. That's insane.
Yeah. Yes, it was a good watch. And, of course, I'm really excited to see a team win for the first time in 10 years. I'll admit, I thought they had no chance. Boy, do I look stupid now.
Not for the first time on this podcast.
Fair. Respectable.
Respectable. You tell him, King. You know how that feels.
Yes, I know how that feels.
Don't worry. I'm sure when you look at the Centennial Cup results at the end of it all, you'll be able to do the same thing with me. Through sheer bad luck and whatnot. So, yeah, obviously more of that. And obviously check out King, RJ's work on Super GT for obviously coverage of that race and a bunch of other cool stuff as well regarding Japanese motorsport. Always a fun time. King, tell us more about 2 more races that Liberty Media are considering.
Oh dear, yes. Liberty Media is considering returning to the other South American Grand Prix nation, Argentina.
Oh,
Yay!
And it's to the circuit. It's not to a new circuit. It's back to the old circuit where they used to race in Argentina. And crazily enough, the billionaires who are proposing this want to use the old 6-kilometer layout that goes out and around the lake.
Whoa.
Okay.
Let me try to find this.
Yeah, this is the Autodromo Juan y Oscar Galvez in Buenos Aires, Argentina. It hosted the Argentine Grand Prix up until 1998 on what was a fairly short circuit in the mid to late 90s. But way back in the day, there was like a whole outer section that they used, and like I want to say it was like a very fat. It was used from 74 to 81. And basically, it's just a long, flat-out run with a long, flat-out right-hand corner that just, golly, this track is fast. How the hell are they going to pull this off?
I don't know. It's not possible. It can't be safe.
Like, I'm looking at it now, and it's just like, holy shit. It's like
yeah, you're looking at it, you're like, what is that? It's like
the circuit has got like, it's just developed an enormous growth.
Eggplant emoji.
Okay, that seems ambitious.
But I mean, like, there are other options if they want to, like, legit have a good race in Argentina. Like, where MotoGP goes, that is a fantastic circuit.
Yeah, it's a great bike track. The Autodromo I can't remember the exact pronunciation. I think it's Tio Hondo or something like that. But yeah, the MotoGP circuit is great. It's a fantastic bike circuit, even if Marquez wins all the time. But you know, it is a
the Autodromo Termas de Rio Hondo. Yeah,
there we go, nailed it. So Argentina's one. What's the other one, King?
The other one, it is a nation in Southeast Asia that is not. It's not Thailand. It's not Malaysia. It's not Singapore. It's not Indonesia.
Well, if it's not any one of those, then what is it?
It's Vietnam.
Oh!
And it's an interesting place to have a Grand Prix.
Very, very interesting place to have a Grand Prix. That's creative.
Yeah, and like in the past, it's come up before. Like recently, I know it came up earlier this year that Bernie Ecclestone said that he vetoed the idea of a Grand Prix in Vietnam. But basically,
Formula One having a race in a country with a lot of political strife in years past, that would never happen.
Never happen. It's like a country that's like had a lot of political strife. Now they're going through an economic upswing, so they're like they have this reputation of being poor, but they're not poor anymore. They're actually pretty wealthy. But
it's almost hashtag new money.
Yes, yes.
Nice.
Yes, like I think Bernie said that his the offer that he got was I think a £320 million contract.
Ooh, Lord, does that include the tip?
Yes, I mean, like I love one of the articles I read to prepare for this was actually in the Sun, and just like how like out of touch that most Western media is about the current state of Vietnam. Their headline, like, is "Good Morning Vietnam." Formula One chiefs considering Vietnam Grand Prix as a replacement for Malaysia.
No. Why? Like,
you mean to tell me that Western F1 media has like a really blighted opinion of all parts of Asia outside of like maybe Japan and like Australia or something? That would never happen.
That would never happen. But apparently the plan for the race, the plan for the race involves it would be another street race around the streets of Ho Chi Minh City, which formerly known as Saigon.
Oh yeah, Oh, jeez. I was going to say, like, this is why Sebastian Vettel banned the Sun from asking him questions this weekend. They're coming out with "Good Morning Vietnam." I'm not surprised.
Liverpool had it right the first time, y'all.
Yep.
Yeah. And they were talking to Sebastian Vettel, who does actually support Liverpool, which is heartbreaking and yet completely understandable at the same time. And he loves the open claw, which doesn't exactly help.
Yeah, but again, it's interesting to have another street race added onto the calendar to the already expanded list of tons of street races.
What you mean? You're gonna say that like Ho Chi Minh City welcomed us?
Like, let's see the street race. We have Australia, technically Russia, also as well Canada, obviously Monaco, Azerbaijan, and Singapore.
No, I've got it. F1 is faux real.
Faux real. Oh my god.
No! This is too much. That is terrible.
Speaking of terrible, Renault.
Go on, RJ.
So is Renault ready to announce a second driver yet to partner with Nico Hülkenberg?
No, like
no.
They are in a position where they're stuck between a rock and a bunch of angry F1 drivers.
So in other words, it's like basically Renault can't wrap their head around the fact they're basically spoiled for choice for driver options at this point, and it's like they can't wrap their heads around the idea of making the decision, basically.
Yeah, like, so apparently there's a lot of things that are coming up that actually play into stories we talked about earlier, where we have Fernando Alonso wants out of McLaren. It seemingly doesn't even care where anymore. We have Robert Kubica, who obviously wants to make a comeback. We have Carlos Sainz Jr., who wants to get out under the looming cloud of being potentially replaced by a Red Bull young driver down the line. And we also have both Force India drivers who want to move on to bigger, better things. Renault might not be as fast as Force India at the moment, but they have all the resources and facilities to build a car that would eventually be better than the Force India. So yeah, both Ocon could leave Mercedes and Perez could get that top seat that he wants.
So who do you take? Anyone?
I don't know, because there's also the drivers currently at Renault, because Jolyon Palmer, he wants to stay on. He's driving desperately to stay on.
He just burst into laughter.
In fairness, he had a pretty good qualifying session, and then it went all to poop. Jolyon Palmer is going to get so much money from Aston Martin next year to drive a GT.
And outside of Palmer, the young driver in the Renault Driver Academy, Oliver Rowland, he is desperately trying to win this F2 championship.
And he's not the only young driver. We just kind of forgot that Sergei Sirotkin's just chilling there.
Yeah, Sergei Sirotkin's just chilling there with that. Just like, I'm staying the program.
Yeah, I got the give me free birthday cake.
Yeah.
So there's literally like a dozen different options that Renault could have for that second seat alongside Nico Hülkenberg. Good luck picking that one out.
Time to start a satellite team. Dacia F1, baby. Go into the top.
Dacia F1.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, this is just...
Who would you
take? It is just...
Because like there's a dozen names you could get right now if you really wanted to. Because again, that is an appealing seat. It's probably the most appealing seat that's left in F1 right now. So
the heart definitely wants Kubica. The head, it really wants Carlos Sainz or Esteban Ocon.
Yes, I want Sainz or Ocon.
Like, I want Sainz or Ocon. Let me get that clear right here and now. I will settle.
Rowland would be acceptable third.
Yeah, I would say Rowland. Rowland's good. Like, it's just that Rowland's got like maybe a once-in-a-generation sort of talent competing against them in Formula 2 right now. But
so the fact that he's even able to hold a candle up to him is like incredible nonetheless.
Impressive. Yeah, exactly. But it makes you wonder what would have happened if Sergio Perez had actually taken that Renault deal and then not changed his mind at the last minute.
What would happen if Sergio Perez just suddenly didn't race in Formula One anymore?
Oh, we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, go on. Like, apparently, he's like.
No, I mean, in a moment where it's like, there's still continuing about the Renault part. There's issue, like, there are things that Robert has limitations, and it's not the limitations for Robert's how long he would stay with Renault. That's the big concern in the Renault camp, that if they do bring Robert back, how long is this going to be for? And they pretty much had to deflect away questions and say, is Robert a plan B or a plan C if they can't get driver to be a long-term project for their team? And they had to shoot down and like, no, Robert's not a plan B or plan C. He's not just to hold off this question for a year.
Because the thing is, he's already 32 years old.
Yeah. He's not only is he 32 years old, he's 32 years old and not, been a Formula One driver full time for what, 5-6 years?
6 years, I think. I think his last season was 2011. And then all of a sudden, Renault's got one of the oldest teams on the field as well, because he'd have an average age of 1, because you've got Nico Hülkenberg, who just turned 30 last week, in the paddock alongside him as well. So is that really what, like, are you basically saying, Renault, that, yeah, your academy, your services are no longer required? Because that's what that sort of move would illustrate. Like, why have you brought in Kubica when you've got a young driver academy with 2 really solid drivers in there?
Yeah, and then situation where, yes, Robert could do 1 full race distance, but you're like, he trained so hard just for that one thing. Now you have to consider that he has to do that 20 times in a year.
That's a big ask of any human being, let alone a 32-year-old with a permanently damaged arm that's not been around the F1 calendar for 6 years. Who's 33 next year, and that's a big ask. And so yeah, there's a whole range of convoluted scenarios here. So good luck picking that one out. But yeah, I am all aboard the Carlos Sainz wagon. Let's go, Carlos!
Carlos!
Let's get Carlos that factory seat he deserves. The man's a goddamn great driver. Here for that. Here for all of that. Speaking of alternative options, though, King, a certain name we mentioned earlier is thinking about a possible IndyCar team.
Well, yes, we mentioned, I'm pretty sure we mentioned this name earlier, because we mentioned Hideki Muto, because Hideki Muto had driven for him in the past.
Yes, sir.
Adrian Fernandez is thinking about re-entering the IndyCar scene, and entering the former Mexican driver owner wants to enter an all-Mexican team into IndyCar, which he hopes to get Esteban Gutierrez and one Sergio Perez.
I love the ambition.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe not so much the Esteban side, because Esteban actually wasn't all that bad at IndyCar in the races he's filled in. Yeah, let's go get like a top 8 driver in the field like Sergio Perez. Like, why not, right? I'm sure he'll love a move.
Hey, if he wants out of Force India bad enough, he'll probably take it. And shoot, if Adrian Fernandez can get that reunion with that Takate money, oh baby.
Yeah. And it's like apparently IndyCar is going to Mexico City next year. They just haven't announced yet, and they're kind of delaying until Adrian Fernandez can maybe announce a single car team next year with they're hoping for just 1 car next year for Gutierrez, and maybe expanding to 2 cars like the year after for Sergio Perez. But like, if Sergio wants to leave early, he could definitely just leave early.
Yeah, those sponsors would come. And remember, Adrian Fernandez, in case you all have forgotten, from about the mid to late 90s to about the early 2000s, easily one of the best drivers in American open wheel racing by far, for a late bloomer and for a guy who spent a lot of time as an owner driver.
Yeah, and you also know who Sergio Perez's agent is? Adrian Fernandez.
Well, how about that? It helps. Certainly helps to have guys in the right corner or something. But yeah, that is a fun one. That is a fun one indeed. I wouldn't mind seeing that. A couple of other interesting silly season moves. Let's go to Formula E for a minute. There's been a lot of talk about the dominoes that may fall a certain way regarding Formula E and their grid lineup for the future, because again, almost everybody's on the deck right now. But we heard one of the first driver announcements this past week. Faraday Future have swapped out Loic Duval and have brought in Neil Yarny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see Neil Yarny still be employed, thank God.
If you might recall, Neil Yarny, who had won the 24 Hours of Le Mans last year, is now out of an LMP1 drive because Porsche's decided, now we're done.
Yeah. The open market has been bleak, but yeah, Neil Yarny in there now at Faraday Future alongside Jerome D'Ambrosio, one of the few names that was confirmed going into Formula E silly season. Nice move for Neil Yarny. I'd love to see how he gets on in Formula E. It's always such an interesting field when you get someone new joining Formula E, and you always kind of want to see where it all shakes out. We've seen it many a times. Guys like John Eric Verne or. Or Mitch Evans, for example.
Lest we forget, Neil Yarny, former Sauber F1 test driver and former Champ Car World Series driver, back with Minardi Team USA.
Not a bad guy to have there. Not a bad guy to have at all.
And it's like tangent. Weird thing that there's only like 4 drivers confirmed. Like there are only 4 drivers that are definitely confirmed in Formula E next year. We have all the highly probables and pretty much going to happen, but only Renault and Dragon Racing have confirmed their driver lineups next year.
Yeah. Everything else is still up for grabs. Like I'm darn sure Lucas will stay at the Audi team, but everything else, God knows. Like. I know many of the Formula E fans out there are begging for Daniel Abt to stick around because he's such a class personality. But again, he's up for the chop as well, so who knows what could happen. More on that as we get it in Formula E.
Also, other note for future Formula E silly seasons. Despite Mercedes leaving DTM, they want to keep their former DTM drivers on retainer.
Yeah, it helps. Just in case.
Just in case something comes up.
Yeah, it helps. It's good to have those guys in reserve, just in case. Speaking of reserves, Red Bull. Sadly, they've dropped one of their guys from their driver academy game.
Yes, they've dropped the young Finnish talent, Nico Kari.
Oh, I had such high hopes for him.
That's the Northern European zone's first Formula 4 champion. Like, if you don't know, the FIA's Northern European zone consists of Russia and the Baltic states. So it's Finland and the Baltic states. So you got Estonia in there, but it's mainly just Finland and Russia. And Kari was their first Formula 4 champion in 2015. After that, he got signed to Red Bull. And last year he was in the European Championship. This year he's in GP3, and he hasn't been spectacular.
He's been decent. He's 10th in the championship. He has a podium, but that's not up to the standards of the Red Bull Junior team, which, as we know, are very high, almost too high for a lot of us.
Yeah, and I think it's due to the fact that we have this weird situation in GP3 where it's a 4-way title fight between all academy drivers, and the only academy not to have a horse in this title fight is Red Bull.
Oh no.
Where you have it's between Mercedes George Russell, it's between Renault's Jack Aiken, Honda's Nerei Fukuzimi, and Ferrari's son of John Alessi.
Oh boy!
And yeah, it's title fight. It's a real title fight with no Red Bull guys, despite being like you'd think Young Driver Academies having a title fight, you'd think Red Bull would be involved, but they just didn't pick a winner.
Yeah, so just a bummer on that one. Last little piece of news before we wrap this up. RJ, like your beloved Taylor brothers have gained the third man for Petit Le Mans coming up.
And his name is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Captain America joins America's greatest team and America's greatest car for America's greatest endurance race that isn't the 24 hours of Daytona or the 12 hours of Sebring.
Or the 6 hours at the Glen.
No, fuck you. This one's longer. I've been to it before. It's more important. Anyway,
okay.
Ryan Hunter-Reay has an end of season gig at the Petit Le Mans. He may not be the only IndyCar force there. Of course, Hunter-Reay is filling in for Alex Lynn, who would have been their third driver, but Alex Lynn has some sort of scheduling conflict that I do not know about. What we do know is that Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to be driving for the team that's probably going to win the DPI championship at a canter. Also, Penske. Penske's DPI project, that launched a couple of weeks ago, and they're going to try and do like a soft test for it by just bringing a standard Orica Global LMP2 car to Petit Le Mans. They'll likely have one of their drivers, maybe Juan Pablo Montoya will be at Petit Le Mans. I know they'll get some running in there before they launch their Acura DPI car in 2018. And golly, that's a nice looking car. Yeah, it really is.
That Acura Penske, it is nice looking. It is nice looking in the same way that the Death Star is nice looking, where it's like you see it, you know it does something really bad. You haven't seen it do bad things yet, but you know it can do bad things. You see it, you're like, that's cool looking. I'm a little scared, but it's cool looking.
You know,
it's like the scene on the countdown in the film Independence Day. Then basically, it's like ooh cutters, and then
it is pretty bad when Penske, Honda, and Orica have to all come together to build a Hulkbuster to beat a dad and his two sons in a Cadillac.
Whoa, that Cadillac. As I pointed out times before, that Cadillac is a thermonuclear weapon built in Detroit.
Lit. And on that note, as the Death Star looms over this podcast, as it's almost 11:30 at night here in the UK, I think it's about time we wrap this show up. Shout out to everybody that's still in the chat watching. There's still 13 of you in here. My God. Thanks for sticking around in the long haul. Much appreciated. I hope you guys enjoy the cleaner, more efficient, plus interview version that comes out in a couple of days' time. Massive thanks to all you guys for sticking around with us. Quick more bit of housekeeping before we go. Again, motorsport101.net, youtube.com/motorsport101, facebook.com/motorsport101, at Twitter, at motorsport_101, at Ryan Eric King, at RJ O'Connell, at Harrison101HD. And if you really like us, you can back us on Patreon at patreon.com/motorsport101. Don't forget, $5 to get early access to both this show and to Bike Live, which comes out later this week, probably on Saturday, as we talk about all the action from Silverstone as Marc Marquez decided to follow the Honda pattern of going pop. Hooray! More on that as we get it over the weekend. A lot of stuff happened this week, a lot of cool shit to talk about as well. Looking forward to that with Lewis Sotheby. So until then, I've been Andre Harrison. He's been RJ O'Connell and Ryan King. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. Until then, thanks for listening. Bye.
Later, y'all.
Bye. Dre, did you just steal my bye? You say sayonara, I say bye. That's the way things go down. We have a contract.
There's going to be a lot of bloopers in this episode, isn't there? just a tad. And stop audio. 2:30, 2:53, King, something like that?
Yeah.
Yay.
Woo!
Oh man, we're
Shelton Benjamin is back.
Ain't no stopping me now. You better up with me.
Yep, time to export this. Let's hope it goes through fine.
Export.
Guys on the chat will still stick around for another couple of minutes because
Post show.
Oh, we're all just like tired as fuck at this point now, and we're just riding this out for the next.
I'm also hangry.
Are you like Simon Pagino levels of hangry?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there at this point, dude.
Oh man, like it doesn't stop getting any less tight when we do one of these, but we leave so much great shit in before I don't even care. It's like
Wonder what the chat has to say about our just collapse, like our F1 style. We're just done with this post race. I mean,
this is like me after Daytona all over again. Oh jeez. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, it's like in before fog. Shut up, Vic. Shut up. That's never happened recording this podcast. I'm not going to let it start now. Like the Cabs asked, who's looking forward to Mercedes lapping the field in Monza? They'll probably lap up to like 7th place or something. Wait and see.
Dre needs a cold Snapple to recover from that one.
I'm out of Snapple. Like, I have like a 1.5 liter bottle of 7-Up in there, but that's about it right now. I have to bring home a fresh load after I finish work tomorrow. Only working till 5:15, so I've got plenty of time for that. Yay!
Let me see what's happening.
Because my other manager's like not in tomorrow, so I can probably leave at 4:15, which is actually quite lit. Who needs breaks, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a little gentleman's agreement in our shop. Like if you don't take your break, you can leave as if your break was at the end of your shift, basically. So.
Oh, that's awesome! I wish my job worked like that. I gotta like.
Yeah.
There's been situations where I've been like, it's like. Because in my department store, the way they schedule everything is that there's only like one person in the store who knows how to sell appliances at a time. So it's so there's no one to cover me if I go on break. So if someone comes in the store and needs to get an appliance, and it's like, oh, God damn it. I got to leave my lunch early to come back to sell an appliance.
Jeez.
And then I have to stay at the end like my break was like normal.
Yeah. It's that little thing, like it's a gentleman's agreement in our shops. Like, if you haven't taken your break, you can go early. I've always been like, it's one of those unwritten rules that technically you can't do, but we all just bend it anyway, and like no one's ever really complained about it, so we just do it basically. Like I did back-to-back 12-hour shifts like this past weekend, and I just spent most of my time sat back in my couch with my Amazon Fire TV stick going, and it was the easiest weekends of work I've ever had in my life. Days of this in a row, easy. It's like a second home back here. I've got my Coco trays and my Amazon Fire TV stick. What more do I need?
So from on the ground experience, because I know we didn't talk about this on the show. How was Mayweather McGregor?
Oh God. No. To be fair, it was an entertaining shit show in the sense of like McGregor did go after Floyd. He probably won the first 2 or 3 rounds. You can make the case that he definitely won the first 2, maybe even the first 3 rounds. He certainly came after Floyd, and I do kind of rate him for that. But all the talk about Conor bringing knockout power in and whatnot like that, he was rabbit punching him. It was just like baby fists the second half of that fight. Like Conor gassed himself out by round 7.
Yeah,
I would say, and yeah, it went pretty much exactly as I thought it would. Like I didn't think Floyd would actually stop him, to be fair, but he did obviously in round 10.
Yeah. But I think I always saw that happening where where Mayweather knew, like Mayweather, most of his fights go the distance, so he knew he had more stamina than Conor McGregor could ever, muster up. So all he had to do was just last until Conor would gas himself out and just take him down.
He did, yeah. Like he was gassed out by round 6, easy, and yeah, by that point, like Floyd was just taking his time, just picking him apart. Again, like I said, it was entertaining. It was, for a Floyd fight in particular, it was actually pretty solid as a fight to actually watch. Like, it was a lot better than his fights against people like Berto, or even the Pacquiao fight, which was pretty darn boring in the grand scheme of things. It wasn't a bad fight, but Floyd basically made the easiest $300 million he will ever make in his life.
And that'll be his last payday, and he's definitely done now with the record. Like, damn, 50 wins, no losses.
He's now only the 3rd black athlete ever to make over $1 billion in terms of actual sporting revenue. Like, only Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods are in that club, which is pretty incredible. Just a shame he's such an awful human being. But,
Yeah, like, bright side of that entire fight, I loved Morrow on commentary. He's never...
I love Morrow as a boxing commentator. I can't stand him as a wrestling commentator. As a boxing commentator, he's great. Because
he doesn't have someone in his ear telling him what to do. He could just call it as it is.
Yeah, like he over-eggs the pudding in wrestling so hard. But Ronaldo's a great commentator, genuinely. Oh, in the chat, I've also got a chat from Cameron, but he says pretty sure McLaren won't even show up. They could legit fall foul of the 107% rule.
Oh my god. Like,
I'm gonna duck y'all. It's been real. Later.
Okay, see you, RJ.
Yeah, take care, RJ. Take care, man.
But it's not gonna happen because Honda, they always turn the wick up for qualifying. We've seen that before. It's not gonna happen. True. Though one thing from the fight that I love, the ad, I think it played either after the fight. I know it was like going around on social media afterward where they've been advertising, the big fight between Golovkin and Canelo as the real fight of the year.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like Oscar De La Hoya just sitting on Twitter just going, oh yeah, it's like, you're a disgrace to boxing. Come watch the real fight. Canelo Triple G, September 17th. And it's like, dude, you used to dress in drag. No one takes you seriously no more, Oscar.
Where it's like...
Also, just a side note, I also just logged on to Sky Bet. They're actually price boosting Lewis Hamilton to win in Italy at 4-6 instead of 1-2.
Oof.
That's actually a pretty significant bump. I have to say, from like 1-2 going up to 4-6 is 4-6. They're that confident. It's a 4-6 for a Lewis win. Yikes! I might just take that as it goes.
If I just take it, yeah, I think it's all but assured that Mercedes will win. Like,
yeah, so, like I might just cover with Val just in case, but. It's just the whole thing's just like meh. 1-2 ain't shit.
Yeah, right? we all know what the real race is. Formula 2.
Slipstream for days, yo. But I think I'm going to call it a night here and whatnot. Big thanks to everybody that's still in the chat. Much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry about some of the lag issues. My internet is not as good as King's. Next time, King's hosting.
Okay.
But seriously, thanks for sticking around. We went over 3.25 hours or something like that in terms of a live show. But much appreciated again. And again, you'll listen. When you listen to the actual version of the show, it'll be a lot better because we recorded it locally as well. And we'll sort that all out as well. But
you guys finally got to see the sausage maker in action.
But King, we all know nobody wants to see how the sausage was made. I said it in the Dre Brief series last year. Nobody likes to see the sausage factory. But I hope you guys enjoyed the little behind the scenes stuff. And like, this is pretty much exactly what goes on every week before you record the show. And I hope you guys appreciate the little maybe behind the scenes look and whatnot. Who knows? You might do this a bit more often if you guys really enjoyed it. But I hope you guys did. Thank you very much for sticking around as long as you have. And yeah, stay tuned, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the Jack Harvey interview, which comes out as well later this week alongside this episode. So yeah, until then, take care, guys.
See you guys.